former president's social media company. That is some coincidence, isn't it, Mr. Gensler?
Bankruptcy.
A stunning fall.
Major restructuring. Debt is piling up.
I see people talking about this Ryan Mata video. By the way, I want to be clear on this. We're sending him a cease and desist, and we will also probably be suing him because we never got paid a dime for talking about Costa. Just so everybody's clear on that. We never were paid a dime talking about Costa. I know Carl very well, and I like him, and I think it's eventually going to be successful. So you can't make up lies about people and get away with it. And there's people finding out that right now. Can't make up lies about this channel. I will not stand for it, just so people understand it. And so really, what happens is you have these people, they're wolves in sheep's clothing. And that's exactly what that guy is. He's making up accusations for clicks. He's the worst kind of person, the lowest common denominator. So if he can provide proof, then that would be great. But he can't because it doesn't exist. So just so you guys know, I'm coming after that.
Real quick, last question. I think it might have came up. You were Hillary Clinton's CFO in the campaign, right?
It's part of my history.
Were you? Yes or no?
In 2016.
Did you facilitate the payment for the Steele dossier since you were CFO of the Hillary Clinton campaign?
Sir.
Sure. Yes or no?
Sir.
Yes or no?
That was not.
You're under oath, Chairman Gensler. Yes or no?
I know.
The collapse of the cryptocurrency exchange FTX is, even if you're not interested in cryptocurrency, a history-changing event. It may turn out to be the biggest single-day loss of assets in the history of money.
First, you were Clinton's finance director in 2016, Hillary Clinton's finance director. Second, you hired anti-Trump enforcement director Grewal in July of 2021. Third, you brought in Ms. Barbero, who was the litigator on 2 House impeachment trials against Donald Trump. You have another enforcement counsel who is married to Peter Strzok. In November of 2021, Senator Warren urged you to investigate the SPAC merger involving Donald Trump's Truth Social company. And in December of 2021, just a few weeks later, you guys launched an investigation using a novel legal theory against the former president's social media company. That is some coincidence, isn't it, Mr. Gensler?
Senator, it is good to meet you in person.
Senator, it is good to meet you in person.
But I think you're not correct.
What was I not correct about there?
Billions of dollars evaporated in just moments, and it's still not clear what happened to a lot of that money. It just disappeared. And as it did, it sparked a growing financial crisis across entire sectors of the economy, a disaster that quite possibly could get worse very soon. But the story of the FTX implosion is bigger even than the global recession it may cause. It is the story of the complete and utter corruption of the people who run our country. The very people who should have been covering and regulating and reining in FTX and its 30-year-old founder, Sam Bankman-Fried, were instead profiting from the scam. Not just a few of them, nearly all of them. From the news media, paid off by Sam Bankman-Fried, to the leadership of the Democratic Party, also paid off by Sam Bankman-Fried, to the chairman of the Securities and Exchange Commission, the SEC commissioner himself, Gary Gensler. They all knew that FTX was not a real company and that Sam Bankman-Fried was a fraud.
remember this. The only wrong exposure to Bitcoin is having 0% exposure, okay? Please remember that.
Bitcoin, you said you spoke at a conference, you bought some of it for your kids last year. You more than doubled your money if you're still holding. Are you still holding? I mean, let's just have a little fun here to end the segment.
Yeah, I am. I'm still holding. My kids are very, very happy about it.
Yeah, what's Bitcoin's real role? There are members of Congress, both parties, I believe, that think it should be banned.
Yeah, I mean, they want it banned because they're being paid by BlackRock and Morgan and all the big globalist banking monopolies that are making money on inflation and making money by the Fed printing money. But American people, the American middle class, is getting rolled, and the off-ramp from that, from the money printing machine is Bitcoin. Because it is hard currency. And we need to make it transactionally available to the middle class. We need to make sure that people who want to protect themselves against inflation can have this, but also that they have transactional freedom. That the government is not, able now to digitalize our currencies like they did in Canada. Yeah. And when the truckers disobeyed, when the truckers protested peacefully, their bank accounts were shut down. And they couldn't pay their mortgages. They couldn't pay for their children's education. The government could control their speech by controlling their transactional freedom. And, transactional freedom is as important as freedom of speech. And you only get that from Bitcoin. We're not going to get that, as long as the government controls our digitalized currency.
What is up, Rumble? Welcome back to the Crypto War Room. I am your host, Ryan Matta. Thank you guys for joining us today. I know we didn't get through the whole pre-show. It's because our guest is on a time crunch today, so I wanted to get right into it because I am going to be joined by my special friend, Dan Keller. Down below in the links in the description is the links to Flux's Twitter, Dan's Twitter, and Zelcore, one of my favorite crypto wallets. So we got a time crunch. I'm going to jump right into it. I had a lot more planned going on. If you guys want to see this, check this out. I had this sweet Flux background all made up, but I didn't set it at the right speed. So it's kind of one of those things where you're looking at it and it's just moving too fast for you. So don't mind, we're going to throw the Bitcoin. I know Dan's a huge fan of Bitcoin as well. Let me introduce my good buddy, Mr. Dan Keller. How the hell are you, Dan?
I'm doing well, Ryan. And I love how you mask my being old by saying I have a important event to get to. It's called sleep, man. It's sleep.
Oh, Dan, we lost you, man. Don't go anywhere. Come right back. Don't worry. Dan will be back here in just a second. He's coming in. There he is.
Yeah, I don't know. That just
you got a VPN on?
No VPN, buddy. No VPN.
Good. All right, because that does it sometimes, man. Dan, fill us in, man. How the hell have you been? How is Flux doing? You got a couple minutes. I know you're on a little bit of a time crunch, so I don't want to.
No, I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. Don't worry about that. Yeah. When you get old, you like to go to bed early, right? So, because you get up at like the ass crack of dawn. So, you know what I'm saying? I'm up at like 4:00 in the morning. So,
Yes, sir.
Well, I appreciate you having me on, and I'm really excited, man. The studio looks amazing. I got a chance to follow it. You were sending me little, screenshots as you were putting it together, and my God, that thing looks epic. I need to get you to come here and build me one too.
We can make that happen, man. We can make that happen. Anything for you, Dan. Yeah. Nothing I wouldn't do for you, buddy.
Absolutely, man. I appreciate that. Yeah, so Flux is doing well. I mean, I think the big narrative across the board right now is DePIN, because people are finally starting to figure out like decentralized infrastructure is absolutely fundamental if we want to build this space to the next level. And I think for
the very first time, wait for it, he'll be back. Don't worry. Oh, there he is. He's back. Oh. Go back.
Yeah, that's weird. I don't know why it's cutting out like that. Hold on, let me check something.
We got VPNs on, or if there's an issue with the connection. It's happened before. I had one of my buddies that used to do it, and it happened to us all the time. Then he was something with his internet. He tried maybe come in through a different browser. I think that was doing it once to somebody I was with as well. We had an issue with one of the browsers that they logged in with. So if you might want to log out, close your browser, come back. Yeah, Dan's coming right back. Don't worry, folks. This is the live show. These are the joys of doing a live show. I got to slow that background down. I know it bugs a lot of people when the things behind me are moving a little bit too fast. We'll slow them down for you. How is everybody doing? Let's jump over to the live chat. Oh, Dan's back. Is he back? I might have to let him in. He might be coming in. Give me 1 second. Yeah, he's going to be coming back in here in just a second. Who we got over in the Dan Down Under? Good to see you. Emin, good to see you. Hollywood, UFO Nut. Folix. Am I saying that right? Folix. I was like, shit, he had ready to go to bed. Nah, we're not going to bed yet. We are just getting started. Oh, there he is. He's back. All right, Dan, give me 1 second. Let me add you back to the scene here. You are back into the show, but I just got to add you, and we will be good to go. I think. Let me make sure I'm adding the right Dan here. One of these will make you move. The other will just leave you frozen there. Nope, that's the frozen one. Wait for it. Wait for it. There he is. Andy's back. My man, how are you, Dan? Oh, we can't hear you. I added the wrong audio. Hold on, they ain't hearing you yet. Now they're hearing you. What up, buddy? Welcome back to the show.
If it can't go wrong, it's going to go wrong to me. I mean, that's
that's
Murphy's law.
No, man, I know you're great. I know we set you up. We got you the good cameras, the good mics, everything. I know I didn't even have to prep or bring you on early. I knew you were going to be ready to go, man. So fill us in. What did we miss?
Yeah, so I mean, really, honestly, like, we're super excited. The narrative is finally starting to switch in blockchain. Just people starting to focus on decentralized internet. You know, the next level of what the internet should be. And we've talked about this for years and years. Like, you know, projects out there saying they're DeFi, and then AWS goes down, and your project goes down. Well, guess what, buddy? It's not DeFi. It's not DePIN. It's not any of the buzzwords, right? Yep. So I think we're starting to finally see the importance unleashed of having that decentralized protocol. And Flux is really, I mean, all the DePIN projects right now are really doing well. And I think we'll continue to keep doing well for a very long time because they're building the next version of the internet, which is badass.
Absolutely. When you say DePIN, fill me in. What are these new crypto words I'm not familiar with? What is DePIN?
Ryan, if you don't know what DePIN is yet, I'm gonna educate you tonight.
Let's do it, bro. Let's get it.
Decentralized private infrastructure, right? So it's a fancy buzzword. It's
that's a cool
Web 3 expanded. It's
Web 4.0, Web 16.
Yeah, Web 16. It's what we've talked about forever, right? Is, you know, having that decentralized internet protocol that doesn't rely on AWS, Google, Microsoft Azure, all the big evil corps, right? And, you know, it's funny because literally yesterday, everything went down. Facebook was down, you know, I mean, Instagram was down. All of them were down. And I put a
Flux
post
down?
up and said, Flux still up after 7 years, right?
Let's go, baby.
You know, so, you know, that's really how we get to the next version. Is I think you're going to see some iterative movement toward load balancing, you know, running things in Web 2 and deploying them in Web 3 on decentralized infrastructure like Flux. So, you know, I'm excited to see that happen, and we're already starting to see big players come out in the space and start to really research it. We had Dish Network deploy a bunch of stuff on top of Flux for their 5G wireless for their monitoring services. And we didn't even know they were doing it, which is the amazing part, because we found out about it after the fact. And we're like, oh, wait a minute, that's Dish Network. You know what I mean? Like, it was really cool. But that's the way it should. That's the way it should be.
No freaking way.
Yeah. So we're excited. You know, you're also starting to see companies really start to cut down on their IT spends, and that the need for IT infrastructure doesn't go away. It only grows as you start to reduce that staffing model, those FTEs. Now you're going to need better technology and cheaper technology. And that's where Flux comes into play. So, you know, we just officially took WordPress out of beta. It is fully live and in all its glory on Flux now. We were in beta for a year.
No
you know,
way. What is that? What does that mean? Explain that to us. What is that?
So about 50% of the internet runs on WordPress. So websites, you know, WooCommerce, you know, different, you know, e-commerce sites, everything, all fundamentally are plugged into WordPress. So now you can run those on Flux in a decentralized manner for pennies on the dollar. So, and you also get all the creature comforts of WordPress. So you got your plugins and all your different stuff that run on there. And that's why we spent a year perfecting it. So is it perfect? Probably not. Iterative technology is just that. We had a guy in our Discord who managed to break it the second day after we launched it. You know what I mean? It's like, shit, you know, only a year and we get, you know, it breaks right after we launch it. But that was good because he came in and he explained what happened. Our team got on it immediately. We knew what it was. It was a plugin that broke it and we were able to fix it, you know, within hours. So, you know, those are the things that we like to, you know, having a community involved like that really helps us in the long run because they're the biggest group of beta testers out there and they're very thorough. So yeah, we're excited for it. And there's a bunch of other stuff happening with Flux as well.
Man, fill me all in. Last time I heard, I think you were just kind of scraping the surface on, you were trying to line up some universities to go speak at and talk about proof of useful work, I believe. Is that the terminology, if I'm not mistaken?
Yeah. Yeah. So proof of useful work is based. It's in beta right now. So I actually went from alpha to beta in the course of like two months, roughly. So we had almost 400 tickets that were opened within the first several weeks in beta, and we were able to basically address those things. But let me start out by saying this. Essentially, what proof of useful work is we have two components. We have Flux Edge and Flux Core right now. It'll all be Flux Edge in the end, but right now Flux Edge and Flux Core are what we're using. We're essentially taking people that have GPUs and connecting them with people that need GPUs. So rendering, AI, edge compute, you know, all that kind of good stuff. The nice thing about it is you can mine any crypto you want. And you can toggle your switch on. And when a proof of useful work job comes in, you will leave the mining network. You will go and perform whatever tasks you've been taxed for. And then you come back to mining whatever you want. So it doesn't matter if you mine Flux or Ergo or Cadena or Caspa or whatever proof of work project you'd like. You still come back and you can still participate in proof of useful work, which will give you about a 10x on your compute versus mining approximately, and you'll be paid in Flux in the end as well. So that's the cool thing. The other thing that we've done is we created a marketplace where people can basically enterprise side can go and actually use the compute resources that we're providing. And it's very seamless. So we have fiat on ramps. So you can use, you know, dirty cash. You can use crypto, Coinbase, crypto.com, Stripe, you name it. It'll all be there. And so what we're trying to do, Ryan, is what we've talked about for years, and that's take away the barrier of entry for blockchain. You know, when you say the word blockchain, people get all freaked out, right? You know, they immediately think crypto, they immediately think scams, their heads start to pound, right? And in the enterprise world or the standard tech stack, that's a big deal because they have to trust the product. So what we're doing is providing the service to them. And yes, it is a blockchain background, but it looks and feels just like what you've already been using. And that's where your adoption starts to really excel. Let's face it. Look at Bitcoin and the ETFs. There's a ton of people that are now invested in Bitcoin who have never done that before in their life because the barrier of entry was removed. I don't want to store it. By the way, not your keys, not your crypto, asterisk. But there are people like one of my friends who has been on my rear end for the past 9 years about buying Bitcoin, and he's never done it. And then all of a sudden he calls me the other day. He's like, I bought a Bitcoin and a half and I did it through my broker. I said, well, there you go. I said, we'll have a discussion later about whether or not that's a good thing or a bad thing. But either way, it takes down the barrier of entry. So really what we're trying to do is mainstream blockchain as a service. And, with proof of use work, Flux Edge and Flux Core, we're going to do that. We're looking to go live with our payouts here at the end of March. So everything's going to be live. We have miners that are already mining on it. We had 5,000 plus GPUs that signed up almost instantaneously and are already running. So, it's kind of changing. It's kind of changing the game, dude.
That is absolutely changing the game, man. That's what you guys are best at. That's why I love you guys. So I'm over on LFA TV all the time. Every time there's an outage, every time, there's some issues or somebody gets deplatformed or anything, I'm always like, You guys have to start reaching out to Flux. Reach out to Dan Keller. I share your Twitter. I share your information. I'm like, you guys need to get your backends stood up on Flux so that no government can force anybody to remove you. If you're running on AWS and they want to remove you just like they did Parler, right? They will get a court order from a crooked judge in a crooked city, a George Soros DA, and the government will order whatever platform to give up your information, your data, your keys, anything that they want. But they can't do that on Flux. So can you explain to people how do they set things up and run on Flux? Like if it was just a normal person and they wanted to maybe move their website or move their backend infrastructure, can you explain why it's beneficial for them to be running on Flux, how that all works? I have a hard time explaining that aspect of it.
Yeah, absolutely. And if the Rumble team is listening,
Yes.
we've reached out to you multiple times because your cloud solution that you're talking about is centralized. So talk to us. We'll be able to help you with decentralizing that. And as a matter of fact, I got their head of cloud services in my LinkedIn, and we've been chatting. So hopefully, we can start getting through to these people that if you're building it and it's centralized, it's still there's still the ability for people to deplatform you, remove your data, so on and so forth. And I mean, the one thing that
Go ahead. Rumble has their own servers too, which I think they thought was going to be enough, but they can't sustain the DOS attacks on their own servers. So now they're trying to do backups, right? Is that what they're trying to do? And that's where Flux could come in critical for that, right?
Yeah, we can do it day one for them. You know what I mean?
Is there enough? Do you guys got enough bandwidth to support of something as big as Rumble?
Yeah, we have, and we can scale on demand, which is is
no having next week if we need it, right?
Yeah, so we, the getting big players in the space to actually deploy on the network will test our philosophies as well on scaling. So, we had collateral halvings and stand up more infrastructure, so on and so forth. We're working on a product right now called Progressive Node Rewards that will allow people to deploy more infrastructure and build it up and make more money doing it. So when the project's making more money, you should be making more money. So, our ultimate goal is to keep this thing going in perpetuity, involving the community, and make a business model for every single person that holds Flux, stake, or runs nodes, runs infrastructure, mines it, so on and so forth. So it's a very inclusive network. We want to make sure that everybody has a voice.
Can you break down? So if I was, say, Rumble and I wanted to come to Flux and I wanted to stand up my backend infrastructure, how do they go about that? How does that process look? And then what does that look like from a business aspect?
Well, we've had a lot of these projects. I'll give you for instance, Ryan, Pal World, which is it's a game that launched, I don't know, let's say 3 or 4 weeks ago. One of the big things, if you're a gamer, launch days suck. Because basically everybody's trying to get the game and it destroys your servers. So the day that Pal World launched, it went to #1 on Steam immediately. And by the way, it's like some weird ass Pokemon game or something like that. Nothing that I would get into, but nonetheless, it was very popular. And we happened to be watching Twitter when it launched, and all of a sudden shit just started going down. And so, Davey gets on the phone with me and he says, hey, let's launch some Pal World servers to help them through, their launch. And I said, okay, well, what do we got to do for it? He goes, we'll pull somebody in, and we found the Docker image immediately. We started to deploy it. And within less than a day, we had, several hundred servers running to be able to assist them. And people could deploy their own servers. So for like a private server where you have maybe 10 people on there, they could do it right now on Flux. It's in the marketplace, right? So we've started looking for opportunities. We're not asking for permission or forgiveness. We're just going to do it, right? If you're going to Dockerize it and we see an issue there, we're just going to deploy it, because that's the great thing about Flux is you don't have to ask for permission, nor do you have to ask for forgiveness. You just do it. So, we reached out to the Pal World folks and said, hey, we deployed a bunch of servers. Hope that helped you out. That's how we could do with basically every infrastructure, whether you're using Flux as maybe you're doing, let's say a token raise or something where it's going to hammer the servers hard. And we've done this for folks in the past. They've used the infrastructure for this. High traffic moments have that load balance between your Web 2 and your Web 3, right? When Terra Luna collapsed and Anchor Protocol was the only thing to get you out of there, What happened to Anchor Protocol? Took a shit instantaneously. But guess where it didn't take a shit? Flux. And it ran on Flux, and people were able to get their money out, and they were able to be safe. So it was redundant. Ran on a couple AWS servers that went down, crashed them immediately. So, that doesn't sound like a big deal, but to those people that had, that infrastructure up and running and load balancing, yeah, it was great. So, we believe that we want to get to a point where anyone can deploy simplistically. If you got a network administrator, you can deploy it on Flux, right? If Dan can do it, anyone can do it, because I haven't deployed squat for years. And I went on the other day to play around with WordPress and was able to deploy my own WordPress site. So that should tell you something. That's what the guys always give me a hard time, and they tell me that they build it Dan proof. If they build it Dan proof, that anyone can use it.
I like the sounds of that, man. So what have you guys been up to as far as, growing the community? I heard rumors that Zelcore is going to be moving to FluxCore now. It's going to be changing its name and rebranding to FluxCore. Is that true?
It is going to rebrand. We don't know when. You'll start to see some color changes. It'll be aligned. We're going to align it with the rest of the products, right? So what we're trying to do is really synchronize our approach, because we're really into the marketing phase now. So we've hired a fairly large marketing firm that's going to help, get us on the right track, put us in front of the right people to make sure that this thing goes. We call it prime time. Flux is sponsoring two UFL teams, right? So if you're into football, we're DC Defenders and St. Louis Battlehawks. God, I totally forgot about. We sponsored Sprint Car. We've got another sponsorship with a skateboard company. So it's a whole bunch of cool stuff that we're doing. And honestly, what that is it's getting our names out there so people start to engage with that and say, well, what is Flux and why does it work for me? So these are things that we're really ramping up. And then with that, the community has to be involved in that, because they're the ones that really help us grow as well. So I'm excited, Ryan. We're hitting our stride. We're 7 years into this thing, and we're feeling really, really good with where we're at. Matter of fact, I was just talking to somebody the other day about our AI solution that we've created. So we have it's called DibiFetch AI. And it basically is going to be a competitor to the ChatGPT model or Grok or whatever you want to call. And it's open source. It'll be completely open source. So you're not going to have to worry about these, extreme woke ideology that gets pushed. Oh my God, the Google mess, right? That was ridiculous.
Dude. Unbelievable.
Oh my God. How do you even come back from that shit?
You don't.
How do you? But
you got to be backed by the government and protected by the government, or your company would be going bankrupt overnight, period.
It speaks volumes to what technology is up against. We need to get rock solid infrastructure that cannot be, sidetracked or taken down. If somebody deploys something on Flux and, somebody knocks on my door and with a subpoena or whatever, it says, take it down. I can't take it down. That's part of the tough conversations that people has to have. You can put me in jail forever. It's not going to matter. It's out there. So the government needs to start looking at these things. They've been reactive the entire time technology has been here, right? If they want to take something down, they subpoena you, they go out, they say, take it down. Okay, we'll do that, right? And they take it down. Now it becomes proactive. They have to understand what it is before it gets mainstream. They have to understand how to manage that. And I've said it before, just because you're decentralized doesn't mean you're lawless, right? You have to understand that the people deploying these things, it's your responsibility to make sure you're in compliance, right? So it does change the paradigm, in an amazing way. So we're super excited to see this thing grow at the exponential rate that it has been growing. We've got like 50,000 deployments running on Flux right now. We're slowly creeping up to be one of the bigger cloud providers. And as soon as proof of use will work, we release it, you're going to see, oh my God, I don't even know, hundreds of thousands of GPUs come online. And when that happens, it does change the game. So I'm excited to see it happen, mostly because it's fulfillment of a mission that we set out of cypherpunks many years ago was to, build it from the ground up, make sure that it was uncensorable, right? So we make sure that it was easy to use and people were able to get to it and deploy things the way that it should be. So yeah, we're excited, Ryan. I think we're just getting started too.
Man, isn't it crazy? And just you would never think, somebody like Joe Biden would do so much good as far as what he's done to wake up people, as far as destroying the dollar, how big of an impact that's made, a positive impact for Bitcoin. How many people have woken up and went, like last year proof of work blockchains were getting hammered by this fake Green New Deal, this climate change. We got to go green to save the planet. Miners are bad. And now everybody's like, wait, you're telling me a miner is bad? Or using energy is bad? Like now it's the opposite. And it's like, we've came such a long way. Crazy. Yeah, that was like a year and a half ago, in my stream. We were like, oh yeah, we got to do this proof of useful work. We're going to be using too much energy. They're going to be coming after us. And like, they had the masses, the people behind them. And now it's like, people like, these talking about using too much energy. People are kind of like laughing at you now,
Well, the thing about it is, Ryan, is we didn't sit on our ass and wait for them to come after us. We went after solving the solution. And that was, how do we become carbon neutral, carbon negative, right? And there's a formula to that. If you have computer hardware that's evergreen, so if I bought a 1060 Ti and I can use that for edge compute or rendering, it's now taking that out of the landfill and putting it back to useful work. What else is it doing? Somewhere somebody's not buying new infrastructure. They're taking and using the infrastructure that you already have in place. Yep. So, we've worked with, there'll be an announcement coming out here in a couple weeks. We're working with a company on carbon capture. So flare-offs, nuclear power. We are tracking all of our carbon down to the dot. Why? Because it takes away that stupid ass argument that, blockchain or proof of work is a negative. And by the way, I love Bitcoin, but I also got a problem with Bitcoin and with ASICs and so on and so forth. I understand people will argue and say it's rock solid, and I agree with that. Bitcoin should not change its model.
Yeah.
But maybe someday it could adopt a useful work model as well. Who knows? When Satoshi Nakamoto was penning, his correspondence back and forth, he understood that compute resource would reach critical mass. So I'm not about changing Bitcoin. I love it. Flux and Bitcoin are my jam. That's what I love. But I think it does make people think, and it does make people talk. And it's if we're going to be the next, heavy hitter in cloud compute, and we're using a proof of work consensus mechanism, we need to understand what our carbon footprint is and how we can address that so it takes away that bullshit argument. So that's kind of where we're at.
Man, that's great to hear, man. Yeah, I think that carbon stuff is just so mind blowing. How they were able to brainwash and indoctrinate us and force this entire world to believe that carbon was bad and somehow it related to climate change and all this stuff. And it's all coming out that it's all just one big lie. But either way, you don't have a choice as the business owner. You'll have to be compliant. You guys were so proactive. You guys were one of the first blockchains that were like, we're going to make it work. We're going to figure out a way to do this. And you guys were so proactive about it. And it just shows the adaptability of blockchain. Like nothing's set in stone. Everything can be changed and modified and made better. And that's what we're all trying to aim for. Crypto is created to make the world a better place. And you guys have been fighting to make the world a better place from day one. I remember your first show, we were talking about don't be evil, right? I still remember it to this day. Don't be evil. You had the shirt too, right? And at the time, I don't think I really knew. I don't think I really knew how evil Google was. And you were always dropping these little breadcrumbs and I was picking up on them a little bit. But now I know, like if I were to go back and watch all of our interviews, I'd be like, oh, yep, now I get what Dan was saying there, right? You're ahead of it, man.
Yeah, it's Ryan. It's why I changed my career. I spent 25 years as a CIO, building technology. And when cloud came out, I was one of the very first adopters for cloud technology. And I worked in the healthcare arena. And as I started to see inside of this healthcare system, them traversing and moving everything toward Google and them using your healthcare data and analytics without your knowledge, that really freaked me the F out. And I had to get out of it, and that's what it came down to. Ultimately, that's why Flux was born, is I understood how evil they really were. and how they were manipulating our data. They were, extrapolating whatever they wanted. It was carte blanche, monetizing it over the moon and back, right? Mm-hmm. And what did we get on that? We got security vulnerabilities. We got potential hacks. We got, our EMR information leaked, our personal information leaked. We got jack shit for it. So it basically, at that point in time, I'll even tell you the story. I had a meeting with Google, and they were looking at moving. The company that I was working for was looking to moving all of their analytics over to Google. So massive partnership, right? And this is a very well-known healthcare organization. So when we sat down and we started looking at it, I realized immediately as they started to kind of mind map this thing, everyone who has data here is about to get screwed. And it was actually, it took my breath away watching it happen, and I left that meeting that day and I was like, that's it. I'm done. I can't go back to that. This isn't who I am as a person. This isn't what I believe in. And, we just can't do this. And that's one thing about Flux. We collect no data. Zelcore, no user data is ever collected, ever. Flux, you have a pseudo-anonymous, we call it our Zel ID, pseudo-anonymous ID. Yep. You can deploy, you can run infrastructure, you can do whatever you want. We don't need to know who you are, and we don't collect your data, and we don't give a shit. So, and that's the way it should be, Ryan, because we would not accept that in any other technology, in any other thing. If you went to work and you worked 40 hours a week, and at the end of the week they said, we get you the privilege of working for us is what you get this week. Wait a minute, I don't get a check? No, you get nothing. That's exactly what they're doing to us. And when you start to think about that, it's like, we would not accept that anywhere else.
Nope.
So it's time for things to change.
It's funny is one of the first times I interviewed Dan, he was talking about, Google being bad and them collecting all this data. And I remember sitting here thinking to myself, like, who gives a crap if they're collecting data? This guy's freaking crazy. It's probably one of our first interviews. And I was like, who cares if anybody, like, what are they going to do with our data? Sell it? Cool. I don't care. Well, wow, was I freaking wrong, Dan. The predictive algorithms and the way that they can capture that data and then use it to market to you. They sell it, they profit from it, they use it to manipulate you. They use it to build other applications that then manipulate you. I mean, I couldn't have been more wrong. And now I'm starting to really, really see everything that Flux was building and why Flux is so critically important, not just to the success of Flux, but almost to the success of humanity. Giving Amazon and Google that much power is terrifying. And every business that's watching this, every time I'm on LFA TV and I'm constantly telling people why it is so important to get your application off Google, off Amazon, and move it to Flux. Not only does it put you in a decentralized position, but it puts you in a much more affordable position. What is the difference? Can you break down the prices for people that maybe this is the first time hearing about Flux, how much cheaper it is to stand up your back end on Flux and how much money it saves your business?
Oh, yeah. I mean, honestly, it's pennies on the dollar. So let me just pull this up real quick.
I know I made slides, but that was back before, Bidenomics kicked in. So I'm sure the prices of
Oh, and by the way, I want to expand on what you just said about, when I came on the first time and was talking about this. This is well before we knew exactly what the U.S. government was doing with Twitter, with Google, with Facebook, and so on and so forth. And then the pandemic really sped up us being able to discover how bullshit this was, right? So, and honestly, we were well beyond that. So for instance, Ryan, if you're going to deploy like a 2 VCU, a 2 virtual core VCU, 8 gig of memory, 100 gigabyte of storage on AWS, it's going to cost you about $79. On Google Cloud, it's going to be about $176. On Azure, about $116, and on Flux, $9.
$9.
If you're going to really, if you're going to really,
are you on Flux's website?
Yeah, it's on our website. We have a calculator on there.
What page is that on? I'm going to pull it up right here.
Run on flux.io, and it's on the main page. So if you really max this bad boy out,
can you see me? What do I click, Dan? I want to show everybody. Where do I click? Can you see my screen? Okay, yeah. I'm on your main website. I see the ecosystem tab, discover, developers.
Yeah, just keep going down. You'll see the.
Sorry, this is why you can't see it. Now you can see it.
You got 2 virtual cores, 4 virtual cores, and 8 virtual cores there. Yeah, there you go. Keep going down.
Oh, keep going down.
Down,
Okay.
down. Whoa, right
Oh, there it is. Yup.
Okay.
Let me move it
So
over.
now
Yep.
if you click, yeah, there you go. If you click on that 8 virtual core CPU at the top, the little oval things, click on that. So right now, if you're going to do the max data, you're about 617 on Google, 467 on AWS, 247 on Azure, and $32, a big whopping $32 on Flux. So, and
is that
you can do this
per year or per month?
That's a per month. That's a per month price.
Wow. So the difference between Google and you is literally almost $600 a month that it would save your business.
Yeah, but there's probably a bunch of network administrators and folks sitting out there right now that's being like, that's not the price because they charge egress on top of that. We charge no egress, right? So if you've ever ran, egress means data that's leaving and data that you have data that's coming and data that's leaving. They're not going to charge you for the data that's coming. But if you go over your contract on your egress leaving, it's going to rack up big dollars. So yeah,
so like
I mean,
roaming
it really
on the cell phone minutes where it's all of a sudden it goes from like a few pennies
dude,
to 50 cents.
It's the same structure when you think about it, right?
You'll own nothing.
Yeah. And so to me, now I only see me.
Oh, yeah. That's it. Yeah, you're just seeing the live output. So you're seeing what they're seeing as I change it, but I'll switch back to me so you can see to me. There we go.
It was freaking me out. I thought I locked up again. No, but yeah, it's the same. Cloud compute, that business model that they're using is antiquated as hell. It's almost like those minutes back in the day when you had to call after 7 o'clock, right?
Yep.
And you got nights and weekends free, right? Oh yeah, that was,
Yeah, nights and weekends. I remember having to wait till 9 o'clock to use the phone, right? Because my mom wouldn't let me use it because I was going to go over a minute.
Yeah. So what happened? The infrastructure got better, competition got greater, and all of a sudden they started removing those restrictions because they just didn't make sense anymore. And that's where we're at with cloud computing today. The big four are the ones that are leading the direction, setting the prices, and making sure that everybody pays that price. And along comes a project that's disrupting it. We are the Airbnb. We are the Uber of cloud compute, GPUs, AI rendering, and so on and so forth. We're connecting the people that have it with the people that need it. And it's gonna change the freaking game across the board.
So how are you feeling about the traditional markets? I know you follow traditional finance in the stock market, quite often. We're always kind of bullshitting about where we think's happening in the US dollar and stuff. I want to go into that a little bit. And I know you're kind of crunched on time. So maybe we talk about, is there anything specific you want to cover on Flux that we haven't covered already? Is there any new upgrades or I wanted to bring you on here and promote Flux and talk about all the new things. And then I want to talk a little bit about traditional finance with you and what you're thinking that's going on right now.
And I don't want to be one of those guys that just comes on and shills the hell out of their project. You know what I mean? Like, I want to relay data, but I suggest anybody that really wants to dig into it, come join us. Check out runonflux.io. Join our Discord. We're happy to, follow us on Twitter. We're always posting new information. There's Ryan, I could take up 3 hours of your time and we still wouldn't put a dent into what we're doing. We haven't talked about Flux Med. We haven't talked about, Flux Drive and Flux Drive Pro.
Let's keep going, man. I want to hear all about these things. No, man, I'm dying. We can talk about the other shit later, man. This is what I brought you on for, man. I want to hear all about Flux.
Yeah, we're getting ready to release Flux Drive and Flux Drive Pro. It's in beta right now. You can use it right now, but essentially it's a Dropbox on the
way.
Version of decentralized Dropbox.
Man, I'm fucking sick of paying these assholes and giving fucking Google my money, man. Gosh damn, I'm so excited. I'll be your first user. Well, let me know when I can sign up. I can pay in Flux too, right?
You sign up now. It's absolutely. You pay in Flux. You use Zelcore to sign the transaction, and then you can start storing your data right away.
Well, what's funny about that is I'm getting ready to leave this summer. I'm going to be traveling to 8 different cities filming documentaries. We're going to film, and I'm working on a really big documentary about the border, the crisis, child trafficking. And I know that these assholes won't let me upload it to a server on OneDrive. They'll just block my uploads, or they'll ban my account. So I have no way to number one, I don't want Google or any of these cronies for the government having access to the data or the information that we're recording interviews with cartel members and border patrol agents that are undercover and that can't be seen on camera. And I don't want that information getting out. So dude. I need to store that on Flux. So as soon as we get done, I'm going to set up. Can I store stuff there now? Like I can already upload it? Like,
Yep.
Oh, bro.
Yep.
All right, go ahead. Sorry, I'll stop cutting you off, man. I get too excited.
It's already active, but be careful down there, dude. I don't want you to get a Colombian necktie or anything.
Nah, I'm going down with this guy's a retired Border Patrol agent for 24 years, and he has all the connections, and we'll be very, very safe. So,
okay, so just so you are, dude, because that's a little scary. I had my run-in with the cartel one time, and it wasn't pleasant. So
my buddy Anthony went over there, and he got dropped off all the way in Panama, and he made the migrant journey through the jungles of Panama, up through Central America, made it, and him and his brother were filming this. They made the entire trip. They made it 10 miles from the U.S., from the Texas border, and somehow the cartels caught wind of it, threw bags over their head, drug them out to a field, took all their equipment, smashed it, and let them go. But they were captured, kidnapped by the cartels, bags around their head, drug it out to a middle of a field, and they emptied all their pockets, emptied all their gear, smashed it right there in front of them, broke their memory cards, and let them go. These crazy mother effers were so pissed because they had, during the stops, they were actually mailing their memory cards back, right? So the last trip was just the train of death that they rode through Mexico. And after they got kidnapped by the cartels, they came back here, tried to negotiate to get those cards back, couldn't, went back again and rerode the train of death to make this documentary that they just made. That's ballsy.
Son of a bitch. That is ballsy.
Crazy motherfuckers, dude. But anyways, go ahead. I'll stop talking. Nick. Tell me about Flux.
Yeah, well, Flux Drive and Flux Drive Pro, they're both active right now. So Flux Drive is basically decentralized Dropbox. Flux Drive Pro is more for enterprises, API based, and so on and so forth. So both of them are really killer products. They officially have the beta brand, but they're not really beta. They're ready for release any day. We are just waiting for the right time to roll it out. We wanted to get WordPress out first, and now we're going to do Flux Drive and Flux Drive Pro. Flux Med is electronic medical records on the blockchain. So we're already starting to work on the healthcare aspect, and we also have DB-Fetch AI, which is a medical piece that does transcriptions and also does it'll review CT scans to pick up what doctors have missed. So essentially, we're working on the fly imaging as well. Everybody that has worked in healthcare knows that imaging is a effing nightmare, right? On-demand imaging based around GPU modeling, that's going to be huge, and that's one of our skunk work projects we're working on as well. So, yeah,
what is that? Is that like, so these hospitals and stuff, when they need to do imaging, you obviously probably need a lot of compute power that they'll be able to basically lease that power from the Flux network and get these images done lickety split because of the massive amount of power that your network will provide, right?
Yep, on demand, and not only will it do the on the fly imaging, but it'll also run it through our AI component in FluxMed, which will also scan. If Davey was here, he'd know the name of it. I can't remember. Jupyter Notebook, I believe it's called. But essentially, it's going to scan those images as well to pick up anything that the doctors might have missed. So, let's face it, like, doctors aren't infallible and they miss shit, right? So having an extra set of eyes going over these things absolutely, is what AI was born for. So we're super excited about that. We are working as well in our skunkwork projects on a, can I say this one? Okay, we're working on we're working on a chat app, right? So basically, Signal that has been built on the blockchain utilizes Flux Drive Pro, brings everything back to center with our AI integration. So we'll be working on that. That'll be a next year timeframe thing, but it's in our skunkwork project now. We've already seen our MVP. Really good MVP, minimal viable product, if anybody wants to know what that is. So these are all things you're going to see. And people say, well, is Flux doing too much? If they focused on one thing, wouldn't they do better focusing on one thing versus these 15 things they're doing? These 15 things are crucial because they are the next version. And whether it's our platform or another platform that utilizes that, for them to grow and be decentralized, these pieces need to exist, Ryan. If you're saying you're decentralized and you're using two-factor authentication by Google, how the hell is that decentralized? Well, SSP, our product now has a decentralized, two-factor authentication for your crypto wallet in SSP, a new product, brand new product we just released a few months ago. So this shit has to happen, and it has to happen all at once, because if you have one weakness in that, so if my data is stored on Google, like in your case, You're not decentralized. It's not protected. If I'm using multi-factor authentication, if I'm using, infrastructure background, my front end or my back end runs on AWS or Google Cloud. These are all pieces that need to be fixed. So, we're doing what will be replicated over and over and over again, because true decentralized internet is not just Flux. It's all of these projects working harmoniously, building out the next version of the internet, and we need to have it. So you're going to see Flux work with Akash. You're going to see Flux work with, Core AI. You're going to see Flux work with all these different providers. Why? Because it makes sense. We don't have competition. We have opportunity. So yes, it's a lot, and we are doing a lot, but we can do a lot because we have the commitment from the people that are making it happen.
That's freaking huge, man. I love the sounds of everything that you're building. Man, I knew I was missing out on a lot. I'm so glad you came on here to break it all down for us, man. What else we got going on? How's Zelcore coming along? I know some people in the Cadena community wanted to ask me about, gosh, I forget what Amir said yesterday, about upgrading a couple nodes. There's some issues with Zelcore communicating with Cadena. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
I'm going to have to give Mike some shit. I saw he was on your show the other night, and we've got to get a better line of communication with Cadena. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like when they do updates and stuff, projects are supposed to let us know like 15 days or, so before a fork. And because we have thousands and thousands of assets, there's no way in hell we're going to be able to maintain all those chains, right?
Yep.
So we ask projects that are listed. One of the pieces that we ask when they're listed is you have to let us know when you have a network upgrade. We found out about it. You know how we found out about it? Somebody bitched on your show and it got back to us. And we're like, oh, they had an update? Okay, well, we'll have to fix that. So yes, it's being fixed. It's being fixed. And we're going to work on, we're doing a website where projects can actually add themselves to Zelcore, and then they're responsible for maintaining the integrity of their updates as well. And that's going to be huge because there'll be no barrier of entry for being added to Zelcore. If you're a project and you know how to launch a block book and have a block explorer, you'll be able to deploy inside of Zelcore. And now you've got a glorious multi-asset platform, Web3 browser that we're continuing to build out.
Let's go, man. That's huge. So now any blockchain can launch, do that, deploy on Flux, and they'll be able to use Flux Core or Zelcore, as we call it, they won't have to create their own wallet.
Nope. They'll have steps that they go through. There's 6 or 7 steps, and then you automatically be added. You upload your image, give us your block book, do this, deploy, and then it'll automatically go into the next update, and now you're added to Zelcore. So, and there's there's going to be some tiers there as well. Like if you want us to build your block book, we're going to charge you a couple bucks for that, and stuff like that. But the ultimate goal is if you got a good dev team, you can add anything to it you want. So all these folks that are beating my door down saying, can you add our project to Zelcore? Give me a couple weeks and you guys will be able to add it yourself, which,
Wait, that's coming out in a couple weeks?
Yeah. You'll be able to submit. You'll basically be able to submit any project and you'll be able to do it. So, I mean, it might take us a little bit till it gets dialed in, Ryan. It's like everything else because it's iterative.
Yep.
But our goal is we want every project out there to be able to have a secure, awesome, kick-ass platform, and that's what we're doing with Zelcore.
Man, I want to give a big shout out to Lisa too. Man, that girl is freaking a badass for Flux. Is she still with you guys? Obviously, I think I just tagged her a minute ago, so her username still says Flux. I just wanted to make sure. I want to give her a big shout out. Anytime I have any questions or I need anything, I mean, she's Johnny on the spot. And then I also got reached out to by another team. I guess you guys are doing some type of roundtable or something. They were going to talk to you guys about having me maybe moderate some roundtable that the Flux team's going to be involved in or something like that.
Yeah, we have what we're trying to do is we started it last year where we did like a proof of work roundtable where we bring all the proof of work projects together on one and let them basically just go around and talk about their projects, talk about what's happening, so on and so forth. So basically people can tune in and they can look at every one of the major projects. We had, Cadena was there, Caspa was there, Alephium was there. Let me think who else. I mean, it was Ergo was there. It was, it was awesome. And, we're really looking forward to expanding the proof of work ecosystem together because we're not competing. I don't give a shit if you mine Ergo or if you mine Flux. I just am happy you're mining, right? And we're going to provide products that will help both of those projects. And that's the way it should be. So no tribalistic nature with us. We're about melding everyone together and building the future of, I want to leave a legacy. Ryan, when you get to be my age, you stop thinking about money. You stop thinking about, travel. You stop thinking about these things. You think about your legacy that you're going to leave to your children and their children. And Flux is my legacy project. I believe that what we're doing, and the team believes that what we're doing is going to change society and the human race for good. And maybe we don't do it alone. Maybe we do it with a team. And I believe if we go farther, if we go together. So I think a lot of folks are thinking legacy now too, because they've been in the space and, the grind is real. Everybody needs to chase the dollar bill, whatever you want to say. I don't even say the dollar bill anymore, right? Because chase BTC, right? But when you start getting older, you look back at things and you look how the world really is, and you realize you can't really effectively change anything with politics. You can't change anything. The only thing you can change it with is code. Because code is what rules it all. So that's what we're doing, is we're building the future out with code.
So how are you feeling now about what we've kind of been seeing? How are you feeling with what Gary Gensler has been doing as far as regulations? Has Flux had any issues? I know you guys were way above and beyond everybody else as far as being, what did you call it? You were pre-approved, or something you guys had that most people don't. What was that?
The Howey test. So we have failed the Howey test 2 times. And we've also failed. There's a legal review that was done in Liechtenstein, I think it was, which was based for the EU and Europe as well. And we're very conscious of making sure that as we build it, we are building it by the definition of a utility-based asset. We're not a security. We don't offer security offerings whatsoever. To get Flux, you got to either mine it or run infrastructure, and that's the way it is. So we built this thing very methodically because we wanted, again, like with the carbon neutrality piece, right? We wanted to take away the argument. If Flux is deemed a security or draws the ire of the SEC, well, then you better point it at BTC because we're a fork of BTC. So,
no pre-mine, right?
No, well, there was a foundational mine, but that's not a big deal. It was very incremental. So, what it comes down to is, we just want to build a better future for everyone. And, so I, probably get a little emotional when I think about it because it's been an amazing journey. The folks that I've done it with, I mean, the team, Parker and Tadeusz and Jeremy and Volter and, all the folks, Betty and Lisa and, Davey and all my friends that I've made there. They're a big part of my life now, because they become a lot like family. They really do. And, you just don't get that a lot nowadays, Ryan. I mean, it's kind of a soulless, godless world we live in. And when you see people wanting to do it for the right reason, it does move you.
It really does, man. It inspires more. They say courage is contagious. So how's your son doing, man? You got a little grandchild now, I saw, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
He's
how's
awesome,
life being
man.
a grandpa? How's your son doing, man? Last time I talked, I think were they just getting married? Was that it?
Yeah, they got married and literally had a baby like immediately after. So,
God, I'll populate him, man. Tell him to keep them coming, man. I want at least 3 or 4 by next bull run.
Yeah, I'm telling you. Well, I have a granddaughter and I have a grandson. So, my grandson, my wife watches him 2 days a week, so I get to see him, and it makes me, super happy. And again, you look at his eyes, you look at my granddaughter's eyes, and you're like, watching what our government has done to them and their generation. is just a god awful sin.
It really is,
the
man.
fact that we've basically printed them into poverty.
Poverty. Man, I try to tell everybody I'm not going to go political on this show, but sometimes it's hard not to because the lines are getting so blurred, and it really is when the average person, or let's just say you're middle class, or let's say the people that support are the backbone of America, the firefighters, the teachers, the cops, the people that are out there, the garbage men, the laborers, the construction workers, the teachers, when they have to go work a full-time job, come home, and then either get a second job or learn how to become a professional investor, because if they don't do something with their money, they're going to be forced into poverty by our government because at the rate they're printing. So you can no longer save in the currency of this nation. And I don't know if you know the actual statistics behind this, but I did a video a couple weeks and I broke down the inflation rate. Actually, Joe Brown did too. Broke down the inflation rate of the last 50 years. So just from the end of the gold standard to today, over 50 years, right? The inflation rate on houses, on eggs, he did it on things that, were the same. So like a 3-bedroom house back then, you could assume a 3-bedroom house now, same property, same square footage, same everything. You can actually track that, right? You couldn't, like a radio back then, every home had a radio in the 1960s and 1970s. Everyone, right? Now homes, maybe, I don't know really anybody that actually has a radio. So he did it on specific items, right? What do you think the price of let's just say the average cost of like a basically your Ford Focus station wagon, 4 doors, manual windows in 1970, whatever vehicle that was, right? The price of that was the average cost of a car, right? In 1973 or whatever it was.
Let me guess. $3,200.
Dude, you're really close. I think it was like 2,700. So going to now, right? The average one is like 42,000. So the inflation rate of that. What do you think the average price of that car will be 50 years from today? If you just had to take a guess, what would you say? If we inflated at the same rate that we did over the last 50 years.
0.02 BTC.
Great answer, Danny.
Dude, it's absolutely, and I tell my kids.
$891,000. So your great grandkids, right? Your grandkids' kids, their first vehicle is going to cost them $891,000. How about an average 3-bedroom home, Dan? This is the last one we'll do. But what do you think the average 3-bedroom home, right? Not, this elite penthouse loft, just an average 3-bedroom home is going to cost an American 50 years from today.
Well, do you know the price, what it was in the 70s?
Yeah, in the 70s, it was like $17,400.
Oh, damn it. I was going to guess 20,000. Okay, 20,000. 1.6 million.
6.8 million. So if that's roughly at a debasement value of 7% per year, right? And we talk about fiat currencies, you're well aware, right? The country that wins the wars has the strongest currency because all other nations' currencies are collapsing, basically, or would collapse, assuming to the countries that win the wars, right? The US has always won the wars, right? So we've been debasing at a rate of 7% per year on average. So if you dug a hole in your backyard and you had a time unlock safe and you're like, yep, I just made $1 million. I'm going to bury it in my backyard. I'm going to leave it to my great-great-grandkids. 100 years from today, your great-grandkids at a debasement value of 7% per year would be able to buy $891 worth of stuff. Your great-great-great-grandkids could not even buy an iPhone Max. They would have to get like the iPhone mini because that is unsustainable. And right now, our government is printing $1 trillion every 90 days.
Well, every fiat currency was bound to fail. I don't think there's been one that's been successful yet because of that. I mean, what the Romans shaved the silver coins. I mean, it's his tale as old as time, right? Until Satoshi Nakamoto penned that, Bitcoin white paper. There wasn't another way. And there is now. So, I truly, my kids invest in Bitcoin. And Flux. I have them set up. They do automatic purchases every week. I've set them down and I've talked about inflation. I've talked about, what they're going to have to save if they ever want to retire, if there's ever a chance for them to retire. And honestly, that's what we have to do. Look, it's not only the government, Ryan. We are a debt-based society. We're all greedy, and we all want the best of the best. I see people that every year the new iPhone comes out, got to get the new iPhone, got to get the new iPhone, right? If it breaks, you throw it away. Don't take it to get fixed, right?
Yep.
We are a debt-based society. We play right into that shit, right? Yep. When they were sending out the COVID stimulus checks, everybody was like, oh, I got $1,500, you know? Okay, guess what? We just printed $2, $3, $4 trillion. You're 1,500, and they gave you 1,500, and you were happy with that.
Unreal.
You know, it's insane. So, long story short is, and I think we both are on the same page, it has to change. So the only way we're going to do that is it's not going to be through attrition. You know, when Nixon took us off the gold standard, he kissed our fate, right? Mm-hmm. And the Washington's not going to stop spending. They're just not. They're addicted to printing money. And Republicans, Democrats, it doesn't matter. They're the same ilk, right? Yep. One is red, one is blue, and that's all the difference, right? And when, you know, and I like Trump, you know, and I'll be voting for Trump, you know, this year. But, you know, is he going to be able to change that? I don't think so. Eventually we end up, the dollar crashes, and we're all, you know, whether we go through another depression, or whatever, but until we get and when I say our, not just the government, but our personal, you know, like I grew up dirt poor, Ryan. I was born poor. My parents did everything. They took care of me. They did everything to, you know, we fixed things. One of the jokes around our house was like, everything was duct taped. You know what I mean? My dad would buy duct tape by the case, right? And that's, but it taught me to save and be respectful of money, and so on and so forth. And while I'm doing that and learning those lessons, the government's just printing me out into oblivion, right? So that it's just not sustainable. Yep. So
it's not.
I think we're gonna see a major crash. I do. I honestly do. Absolutely.
Do you think we see that
started today? Started today.
You think it started today?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Oh, what did I miss? Fill me in.
Well, there was a bank in New York, Savings, I believe it was, that started to fail again. They're looking for capital infusion. Problem is it's a house of cards, right? Anybody that's listening, go watch Margin Call. Go watch it's Margin Call and the other one. Shit. The Big Short. It's got Steve Carell in it, and they talk about the housing market crisis. We are right in that again. It's like they made a movie, they wrote a book about it, they did tours, and we're still doing the same shit. It was, you know, these, you know, class F tranches that was in the first time, but they just rebranded it and brought it back, and here it is again. So the correction has to come. It does. So, I do believe it started today.
You think we're gonna feel it before the end? You think we're gonna feel it before the 2024 election?
Yeah, I don't think we make it. Personally, I don't think we make it to the 2024 election
without a crash or to it at all.
To it at all.
Man, I'm not far off that page with you, Dan. That's a scary position to be in.
It's not a conspiracy theory. It's just factual. I mean, you know, if we go to war with Iran, which is looking more and more like it every day. I mean, they just seized one of our tankers, $50 million in oil, and basically told us, you know, you guys aren't the only one that can seize shit. You know, basically, eat crap, right? If we go to war with Iran, you're talking War Powers Act, right? And you're talking no election. You know, whether you got Biden there or whoever, if he makes it that long, you know, if we make it there, I'll be absolutely shocked. I pray we do, but you know, I think we're in a really tumultuous time right now. This is going to get really interesting. These next several months are going to be telling.
You know, I was reporting on it a while ago. There's I forget, he's a retired FBI agent, but he does. Like he goes and trains the FBI agents on how to basically extract information from terrorist organizations, how to infiltrate them, how to read, you know, the information that they're putting out online, how to, you know, read basically between the lines. And he put out this long report on, what they were planning this summer. Basically, it'll most likely be an LGBTQ person that's famous, and they will be either shot, attacked. Somehow it'll be used to try to basically propagate the next George Floyd 2.0. And, how violent things got in 2020, and we had somebody like Trump, as our leader, kind of trying to restore law and order versus somebody like Biden. Could you imagine if like the summer of love happened this summer, or if there was a false flag cyber attack? Our infrastructure is like 50 years outdated, meaning like, and there's neighborhoods you could drive down here and you could shoot a transformer with a long rifle and shut down the power grid here. Just one person can. And imagine it in New York City if they took out the power grid in New York in the middle of summer, and it's 120 degrees in your 60-story high-rise apartment. You basically be forced to leave your apartment and go out into the streets and try to wait for power to come back on. Imagine how quick this country would be brought to its knees if something like that happened. If we had any type of power outage or the grids, or it just seems like we're setting ourselves up for a recipe for disaster.
3 days. You got 3 days.
If we lose power?
3 days before civil unrest kicks in. Yeah. Essentially people would have food on hand for about 3 days. And then once that starts to kick in, then you'll start to see civil unrest. So, I pray to God none of this happens, man. And, anyone listening, get right with God. I'm not a conspiracy guy. I just look at things as they are.
Yep.
And, I watched what happened with the pandemic, and normal everyday people they locked us in our homes. People lost their jobs because they wouldn't, get a vaccination. So, bottom line is, it's good. Things are going to change, and we just have to be ready for it. So, make sure you're, take care of your family, have, food and water, and, get right with God and be ready for it, because, it's not a matter of if, in my opinion, it's a matter of when. So, whether it's when, hypothetically say we make it through, we have the election, Trump wins. Well, that's going to be a shit show. Hypothetically say we make it all the way through and Biden wins, who, nobody will believe the election results.
Nope.
It's a no-win situation at this point. You know what I mean? So now I'll pull my tinfoil hat off and call it a day.
You're that's right up my alley, man. I'll go down the tinfoil rabbit hole. I know it's getting late for you, man. So do me a huge favor. Let's tell everybody where they can find you. Give a big shill to Flux. Tell everybody about your project one last time for anybody that's just joining us, and we'll wrap it. I'll let you go. I'm going to stay on and kick it with everybody for a little bit longer.
Well, first of all, I want to thank you for having me on. Love your new setup. Love what you're doing. Getting back into crypto. A good timing on your part as well. I think there's plenty to report on. If you want to learn more about Flux, check out runonflux.io. You can follow us on Twitter at runonflux. If you just want to hear the rantings of a crazy old man, at DAK_Flux. Come check us out. Join our Discord. We're happy to help. Could you go to GE and talk to the CEO of the company? No, but you can come talk to Dan in Discord. We love to hear you. So, Ryan, thanks again for having me on, brother. It was good talking to you.
Dan, it's always a blast, my friend. God bless you, man. God bless you and Flux and everybody on the Flux team. Hopefully you guys keep crushing it. And I'm going to send you my Calendly. So anytime you guys want to come on the show, you don't even have to ask. You never had to ask. You could always just text me and tell me. But I'm going to send you my link so now you can just book it. I got something to announce. I want to come on your show and break it. Any breaking news, you guys are always welcome here, buddy.
Appreciate it, brother. God bless you, and I'll talk to you soon.
God bless. Later. All right, folks. Oh, my cams always freeze like that. I don't know why. I got something like in the Apple software where if I put my a thumbs up, it'll all of a sudden try to put the thumb emoji on the screen, and there's some weird one where if I do something like this or something, it shoots fireworks or sparks over. I could probably get it on my main camera, but then it's gonna mess everything up. But I want to jump over here. We're gonna throw the live chat on the screen if I could actually get my yeah, there it is. There we go. We got the side shot coming in here. How's everybody doing over here in the Crypto War Room live chat? Let me pull it up here on screen. We're going to say what up to everybody. We're going to hang out for a little bit. We're going to do a little coin calls. We might even take some live calls. What do you guys say? It's up to you guys. I'm going to jump over to the Rumble channel, pulling up the live chat. There it is. We got over here. We got 113 people watching. Wow, it's a good show. Thank you guys for smashing that like button. Let me, you guys can see it right there. I don't need to throw it on the screen. It's already up there. One hit in the house. Who we got? We got Tried 2023, the social media showdown was deliberately done by the government to push for government takeover of the internet. I would not be surprised, man. I would not put anything past these people. Mustache49, Ryan, can you put in the comments before hour to get into the flux about crypto? Ryan, can you put in the comments before hour to get into flux about crypto? Run that back one more time, my friend, below on how to get into flux. Absolutely, my friend, absolutely. Down below in the description is a link to Flux's website. How to buy Flux. If you're in the US, the best place to do that would probably be Binance. I think there's a couple other exchanges, but Binance is really, really it's easy. My link's down below. I don't get anything from Binance. They canceled their affiliate program after, but I still got an affiliate link. You can just use it. Zphil says, Zep. ZEPH, my friend. You guys want to do a little coin calls? We'll do some coin calls. We got our, what do we got over here? We got our trading view back up and running, boys and girls. We are back. Are these coins on trading view? Because if they are, we'll throw them up here on the screen and let's have a little fun. Let's jump back into the old days. We'll do some coin calls with y'all. Give me just 1 second to get everything set up here on the screen. I wasn't really prepared for coin calls, but we're going to make them happen, my friends. Let's chart some coins. Let's talk about crypto. Man, the good old days. We're coming back, boys. We'll jump over here on the screen. We'll throw Bitcoin up in the chart. I need to get myself, what I need to really get is some music going on. I miss the days of having good music in the background, and I got a good selection of new music that we can use as well, too. So let me just find the right spot to put myself on the screen. Let me get the live chat up here as well, and we'll get these coin calls running, boys and girls. Let's do it, folks. Let's do it. All right, let me pull out the live chat so I can see you guys over here. Let me make sure I pop that live chat out. I don't know why it's not there. Oh, there it is. Let's pop that live chat out. All right. Now I can see the live chat. We got you guys up on the screen here. Let's do some coin calls, folks. What do you guys want? Zep. All right. There we are. Let me remove all these indicators off the screen and we'll come from here, folks. Maybe we'll do some live calls too at the same time. Let's see how it works. There we are. Now we're back on screen. All right. What do you got? What do you got for me? ZEPH. Let's do some full breakdowns on these. Let's jump on here and go not into OneDrive, not into that. Let's go to, what did I want to? CoinMarketCap. That's what I need to do. I need to get my right keyboard as well. We'll do some CoinMarketCap. ZEPH was the coin, right? ZEPH. Is that Zephyr Protocol? ZEPH. YR. And it looks like we got 3 of them on here. Only one has a price that's trackable. Is it Protocol, my friend? Is this the one we are looking at? So it has a $45.5 million market cap. And they changed their site. Is this the one I'm looking at? Flux going to have a render-like run for sure. Crypto George, my man. Good to see you, my friend. Great to see everybody over here in the live chat. Thank you guys for smashing that like button. We greatly appreciate it. I need to ask for those more on this show. I'm not used to doing my crypto shows like I am my evening show or my morning shows or my afternoon shows, if you call them that. Let's see here. Let's make sure I'm just trying to get everything straightened around here. Zeph. Yes, that's it. All right. Zeph Protocol is a crypto-backed, over-collateralized, private, decentralized stablecoin protocol inspired by the DGED protocol on a native Monero-based chain. Now you're speaking my lingo. Let's go. All privacy features for all assets. Launched on May 29th of 2023. Zeph is the base coin, which is used as a collateralization in the stablecoin protocol as well as minting ZSD and ZRS by adding the equivalent ZEPH value to the reserve. ZSD is a stablecoin, a private stablecoin backed by at least 400% equivalent value in Zeph at the time of minting. Now, ZRS is the reverse shares, or the reserve is the reserve coin, which represents a share of excess quality of the reserve. Users mint ZRS in return for adding ZEPH to the reserves. ZRS coins act as a share of the reserves excess quantity. You guys know me. And the value of ZRS is formatically calculated in protocol. Simplified, The value of ZRS is correlated to the reverse ratio, dropping when reserves are low and increasing when reserves are high. To avoid dilution from the ZRS holders, there is a maximum reserve ratio of 800%, at which time no more ZRS can be minted. Ooh, I like that. I like that. That prevents a Luna-like collapse, right? Leverage positions as ZEPH's value increases. The amount of ZEPH each ZRS is redeemable for increases as well. Collect fees for action when users mint or redeem ZSD and redeem ZRS. They incur a fee, which is then added to the reserves. Spot and MA prices deviation, the value returns for performed actions, is calculated by the worst price between the spot and the MA. This value discrepancy is added to the reserve. That was a lot to take in, man, but I like it. I like the idea of it. I like the sound of it. I love the fact that it's on the Monero blockchain, or it's built off the Monero blockchain, which is huge. It's the only private coin that I would ever actually use. I think after we get rid of this corrupt government, we'll see coins like Monero absolutely boom and absolutely thrive. And it is $28. Take a look at the month chart, consistently growing. The 1 year chart looks like it launched at a price point of around $44, and it's came down. I love seeing the solid green on the chart, and we're close to bottom. Looks like bottom was around $11 or $12, 11 something, and we're up to 22.8 right now. Let's see what markets you're listed on. You're listed on MEX Exchange. Big shout out to MEX Exchange. Affiliate link is down in the description if you guys want to support the channel. XT.com. Looks like safe trade, so it's a fairly new asset. I don't see... Yeah, MEX Exchange is one of the big protocols. Looks like you guys are doing right about 1.4 million in trade volume, which looks like it's about up 73%. If I'm reading that right. Sweet. So it looks like you had $31,000 worth of liquidity in trades over there in the last 24 hours. Shit, let's go, baby. Let's go. I like it. I dig it, my friend. What do you guys got next? Shill them if you got them, folks. Yo, try 2022. Katie Hayes says, smash that like button, my friend. Jacob, Ryan, let's do some TA on space. Now you're talking my lingo. Did you guys see that coin? What's it up, like 12% since we put out a tweet this morning? Y'all guys know what time it is. These coins are really, I mean, this, man, I don't think space stocks, we want crypto, we want space, which is the micro vision. Here it is. Damn, that $33 again. Oh, look at this coin's on a rocket, baby. So take a look at your setup here, right? It's almost too good to be true, folks. It's been a long time. Let's see if we still got it. Let's see. We got looking like some type of Elliott wave structure here. We got our 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, right? The upper level is right there above our third, which is what we'd expect. So that would be my short position, right? If we get above this, I would almost have to say that I'm going to be long. We'll break it down in micro and macro as well. Let me throw our indicators up here on the chart. Let's throw our moving averages up here. So it looks like it's been coming down and confirming support. We haven't broke the support right here on the 100-day moving average since all the way back in November of 2023, which is super solid. This coin only had a $75 million market cap. And what I think people, including myself, aren't really ready for, and I was talking to this about this on Twitter this morning. If you guys aren't following me on Twitter, it is Ryan Matta Media, for those of you guys who are not following me yet. And I was saying, right, why are the Ethereum bull runs so explosive? Why did every altcoin on the Ethereum blockchain absolutely explode? If you guys just had to take a guess, why did Ethereum thrive? And then why did we also see Solana thrive as well there towards the end? It's all about liquidity, folks. You know, when there's that many OG holders of a coin like Ethereum, and you had people like me that were mining it when it was $2.64, and we basically mined all this Ethereum out of thin air. Not really. I mean, it's skin in the game, right? I paid for the electricity. I paid for the equipment. And then you're mining Ethereum at $2.64. And then Ethereum does what? Ethereum goes from $2.64 up to $2,000 the first time. I think it was $1,500 the first bull run. Then the next bull run, it was like $3,000 or $4,000 or $4,900. People like me have made so much money that we're willing to just throw thousands of money anywhere we can. Because if I made 4 million or if I made 4.5 million, does it make a difference? Do you think anybody's going to notice? No. You've made $4.5 million or $4 million. That extra $500,000 you're going to do dumb stuff with just because you can. And you can throw money at everything and hopefully you hit a Shiba or you hit something else, right? So there's all this liquidity from all of the holders holding. Now think about how many Bitcoin maxis out there won't touch an altcoin because it's altcoin's bad, Bitcoin good. Well, then you get into a scenario where you have altcoins that are built on blockchain, on Bitcoin. And then you find an altcoin like Space, which you can trade one for one and swap it out for Satoshis in Bitcoin. And it's now used as a scaling solution to make the Bitcoin blockchain better. Just imagine if Steven's right about this and Space becomes the go-to application where everybody that wants to interact or do anything on the Bitcoin blockchain is now doing it on Space and they're using it to scale. That's going to be bonkers, folks. Like the amount of liquidity that there is on Bitcoin. And imagine how much there will be on there when Bitcoin runs up to 250,000 and then to 1 million. Just think about that. I mean, people like me that have 3.5 Bitcoin are going to go from, what I bought them for, probably around 60,000. Well, I bought the first almost whole one for a lot more than 30,000. But it's neither here nor there. We don't want to talk about that. We only want to talk about the gain. So we'll pretend like we bought them all at 20,000. You just turned 60,000 into 3 million. You think I'm not going to throw a bunch more money? I think that these Bitcoin projects are going to be the most explosive because there's so much liquidity on there. And if one of these suckers gets it right, like if you were the L2 that scales Bitcoin and is a complete game changer for the Bitcoin and the Bitcoin ecosystem, what do you think the market cap of that coin would be? I mean, you're probably talking like something like a overnight Shiba if Space nailed that. So with a low market cap of around 75 million, we pull it up here and just let me make sure I'm getting these right. I wish I would have got into it a little bit early. When I'm low cap gem hunting, $75 million market cap's normally a little high. It's 86 million right now, getting close to 100 million. Not too long ago, we probably could have got it for, it was at one point, it was $3 this summer. Woo, $2. Then it immediately ran up, and here we are again. This is nuts. Only 12% of the circulating supply released. I don't know what the releasing schedule on there. That would be really important. But sometimes we see the coins that release a lot early on, like CAS, and all of a sudden they're up, thousands of percents. I mean, that's completely changes everything, right? So I'm betting on some of these. Anybody finds any more applications that are building on Bitcoin, please let me know. I'm going to be, after you spend enough time in this industry, I think everybody kind of eventually becomes a Bitcoin maxi. Unless you made, insane amount of money on some JPEGs. It's like our country can't survive without Bitcoin. It can survive without every other altcoin, right? If every other altcoin went to zero tomorrow, I don't know if it would affect much of humanity, but Bitcoin, there's nothing that's going to replace it. There's nothing that's going to ever be decentralized as it, which means that it inevitably becomes the world's global reserve currency. And you're looking at an asset that most likely will have a market cap of around 50 to 100 million or 100 trillion. If I had to take a guess on Bitcoin's market cap, I think it's going to 100 trillion. So I think there's still 100x in there. I think it's going to be about $60 million. If I had to take a guess, $75 million would be my price prediction for Bitcoin by 2028. If I had to take a guess, we're watching fiat currencies collapse on a global scale all around the world. You have this beautiful asset called Bitcoin that's going to change and revolutionize the world. So RSI right now on Space, if we said we're going to come down and confirm support, right? So if I bought in now, I'd be expecting the low pullback. If I was going to be trying to DCA, we got another line of support, which is a really looking like a solid line of support, solid consolidation. You see that falling wedge, if they call it that. What do they call these things? Yeah, I think it's a falling wedge. Anything. I can draw circles on a chart. You guys know me. I don't put much faith in them. But in market conditions like these, you should be long on everything. All the time, constantly. I would say 90% of your trades right now should be long, or you should just be using bots. But we have key support here, right? If the support that we're going to find here on the moving average doesn't hold. So you ape in right now at 33. Obviously, don't put your whole bag in there. Maybe that's only a 40% down, man. This I just aped into. I only threw $1,500 at it this morning. But if I did see it come down to 24, I'd probably throw another 1,500 at it. And then if I seen it come back down to 18, I'd probably throw another 1,500 at it. That's a 40% off. If from 33 and it's $85 million market cap and it comes down, say 45%, then you're looking at the thing has a $45 million market cap or a $40 million market cap. And I would want more of it at that price point. So we'll sit on this one. We'll see where it goes. Just Lucky, I suppose, in the house. I love seeing you doing the crypto coverage, Ryan. Thank you so much. Crypto George is in the house as well. What's your realistic price predictions for KDA this bull run? you know, George, I'm going to take 10% every time it does a 10x. That's my goal. It's been my goal since day one. So we go from $1 to $10. I'm going to take, well, actually it would be 40 cents to $4, but I don't think I'll hit it at that first one. No real need to. I don't even know if we hit it at 4, if I'd recover all the money I made buying it at the higher prices. I bought a lot down here, you know, probably another, I think when we last ended the show, I was at 36,000 Cadena, and now I'm at over 100,000. So, you know, my goal is $10, 10%, $20, 10%, $30, 10%, $40, 10%, $50, 10%, right? But I'm always selling 10% of my remaining supply, not of my initial investment. So the first time you sell, 10% of 100 is 10, right? The second time you sell, it's 9. Then it's like 8.1, and then it's like 7.2, I think. And then it's, you know, it decreases in value. So if I say I have 100,000 Cadena and I sell 10% when it hits $10, and then that's 100 grand. And I sell 10% when it hits $20. Let's just say if I just sold a flat 10%, keep it simple in the math, that's 200,000. At 30 would be 300,000. At 40 would be 400,000. So 400 plus 300, 700,000. 200 plus 100 is 300,000. That would be at $1 million. So if I sell 10%, 10%, 10%, 10%, I'm going to end up with $1 million, and I'm sure as hell not going into a stable coin. Every time I sell, I'll be selling into Bitcoin. So as I'm taking profits, if I'm wrong, right? Hear me out on this one. This is my new strategy. I didn't think of this last time. This is something new, right? If I'm taking profits in an altcoin that I've just 10x'd on, right? The last thing you want to do is go into fiat or a stable coin, right? Because if you're wrong, what are you going to get from it, right? I'm going to sell off into Bitcoin. So that way, even if I am wrong, Bitcoin's going to keep going up. So I'm not selling off and going into cash. I'm going to sell off and go into Bitcoin, right? And then I'm going to keep doing that. So that's my plan. $50 would it be a dream come true? But like me and Steve were talking about, what happened last bull run? We went from $1, what was it? $1.29 when we first found Cadena to $28 in like 90 days. So if we're in market conditions where this thing's, you know, running like a raped ape, I'm not gonna sell, right? I'll ride that out all day long. But to not take 10%, and I might do if the market's really bullish and Bitcoin's mooning, right? We have no idea how high these altcoin prices are going to go. So maybe I sell 10% at $10, and then 20, and then 40, then 80, then 160, right? My goal, my realistic, I mean, just let's go to market cap of, right? You guys don't even want to know who I was pink pilling this morning. Just say some of these bigger YouTubers that I've become friends with now. One of them has 2.2 million followers, and he was watching my Cadena whiteboard videos this morning. So just imagine if I can pink pill a few of these bigger players, and all of a sudden you have people that make BitBoy's old channel and Coin Bureau look like chump change, because that's what we got in the works right now, folks. Y'all thought I left Cadena. Y'all crazy, man. I never leave crypto, ever. I just needed a way to recruit more people and onboard more people into this industry, and it's been very, very successful doing it. So I've probably pink pilled more people outside of the crypto space that would have never touched crypto, period, if it wasn't for me, or not at least when they did, than I could have ever did doing a crypto show. So hang in there with me, folks. Cadena's going places, big places. So what are we sitting at right now? $450 million market cap. Market cap of, I was just on this one. Marketcapof.com. I need to get all my tabs set up here. So we're taking a look at KDA. And then what do we got over here in the top 20? Let's go back to the homepage. So let's just say Solana's sitting at a market cap of 30 billion. USDC is sitting at a 30 billion. Shiba right now, INU, a dog coin, sitting at a $20 billion market cap. So there it is, Shiba INU. So Shiba INU at a $20 billion market cap, if I got the right Shiba on here, $71. If it hits Shiba's all-time high, right? Talking about $154. So if Cadena does not have a higher market cap than Shiba by the end of this bull run, man, I mean, what in the hell is going on? So that's a 42x. So let's just say that would be my lowest price prediction. Absolute worst case scenario would be a 42x from here. Evan says he still got his Shiba. Let's effing go, bro. That's freaking awesome. Let's go, man. I need to get some better music on here. I can put it right into my thing here. Oh, you guys can hear it. Shit, didn't have my mic on. Thank you guys. We are Alex, and we are the first one-stop DeFi service platform on Bitcoin via Stacks. The sea of change DeFi begins as simply as lending and borrowing Bitcoin. The smart contracts that govern those loans can be used to create bonds. Using these decentralized bonds as we recreate derivative products, leverage, and all other functions of higher finance, replacing it with the algorithm of automated liquidity exchanges, or ALEX. Wow. Damn, Mr. K. That was a good one. I wish I would have found that one before it had a $230 million market cap. Wow. Wow. Let's see if I can take a look at the market cap of that one. Jeez, oh, Pete's. 49 million. Looks like it launched with a $49 million market cap. You could have got it as low as 28 million. That's already a 10, almost a 10x. Keep me updated on that one, Mr. K. If that one comes back down to a lower market cap around 100 something million, I wouldn't mind throwing some money at it. I mean, that would be, so we talk about this and I talk about it all the time, right? Every bull run is different. Every bull run has something that most people were not paying attention to. So if you take a look at other bull runs that we've been through, last time it was kind of just like the newer altcoins, right? And we saw that play out, and then we went to that was like the 2017. It was like whatever good altcoin you bought, it was Ethereum's time to run. Some of the bigger projects that were built off Ethereum, I think Matic, Polygon, a few others. In the next bull run, we've seen a few L1s take off. Solana, Phantom even ran up there at the end. You had things like Avalanche, Cadena took off running. But the real big ones were the meme coins, right? Like, I don't think anybody ever thought that like the Doge coins were going to go up and do like 100x, or the Shibas or the baby Dojas, right? But they did. That was something that was really hard for me to go, yeah, you know what? In the bear market, I'm going to throw my money into some random dog coin, right? Because I think this thing's going to 100x. You'd be absolutely out of your mind to think that. So it's always something different. And I would not be surprised if this is it. If it's the Bitcoin ecosystem and ecosystems like Cadena that really emerge as the leaders of the pack this bull run. Ethereum is just the ability, not Ethereum, Cadena's ability to, basically change this entire industry via its smart contract language. Like, there's things that you can do on Cadena that just will never be able to be accomplished over here on Bitcoin. But I still, if you're just talking about just basic finance, which is where a lot of the money came from, so you're going to sell after at 10x's to the USD or 10x to Bitcoin. I'll be taking 10%, not selling, taking 10% of my profits and taking those profits into Bitcoin. It's always been a strategy to me. I'll read this thing to you here in a second and explain how that works. Man, I like Alex. That's an interesting project, Mr. K. This would be it. This would be that thing that comes out of left field and completely surprises everybody and the only people that are paying attention to it. Or it could be a complete flop, right? It could be something like this is just too much for the Bitcoin blockchain and it starts clogging up, or, something happens. But it's looking good, and it's barely listed on any exchanges. And it's on MEXC. Wow. Yeah, that's one to keep an eye on, Mr. K. Crypto George says keep an eye on the AI and gaming industry. Oh yeah, without a doubt. I mean, look at how good people got last bull run at making scam projects. Now you throw something like AI in there, it's only a matter of time. Only a matter of time. Why would anybody want to build on BTC when you have KDA? I don't get it. Because number one, you're making the Bitcoin blockchain better, and then your underlying asset is built on the hardest currency known to man that's ever been created in world history. I see the value in it. I see the ideas of like not having to, you can interact with your Bitcoin directly on every application without having to bridge it over somewhere else. So instead of having to trust a third party to interact with the Bitcoin blockchain or to keep your Bitcoin and bridge it over, I mean, you guys have learned your lesson. I hope everybody in here has learned their lesson to never use a bridge, right? We know that. There were bridges that were up and running for like 2 years. And then once they got billions of dollars of liquidity, they got drained, right? So it's not about like, oh yeah, the bridge has been out for 4 months. I'm going to go and put a bunch of money on it. I would advise against using a bridge with every last ounce of breath in my body, unless there's some type of, advanced auditing. Being built with Pact might be a game changer, right? If they're built with Pact, that might completely, revolutionize everything and change the game. But let me see if I can find this. It's altcoiner A versus altcoiner B. Might have to use Google to find this. Yeah, I will. It'll come up first search results. If you just pull up Google, sucks that whatever happened with Brave, that they basically lost their ability to do to use Google search for images for some reason. Here it is. All right, so those of you guys who haven't read this, let me open this in a new tab. All right, so what you're looking at here, right? So this is an old school one. This one's from 2016. I need to move this over a little bit more so you guys can see it. So this below my picture says set for life, 20 million, 2.5 million, right? So altcoiner A, this is an example in a scenario of two different altcoiners. Both altcoiners spent 10,000 accumulating altcoins in 2016. So altcoiner A, he believes in crypto, believes it'll be a big part of the future, puts in 10,000. His altcoins did a 10x in Satoshi value during the time his BTC did a 3x in dollar value. He now has 300,000. He sells 10%. He keeps selling 10% of his remaining altcoins as Bitcoin does another 10x. He now has a few $1 million, 2.5 million. He keeps selling his altcoins. He keeps selling 10% of his altcoins as they do another 10x in Satoshi value. He now has double-digit millions of dollars. He realizes he can achieve financial freedom and decides to retire with millions of dollars in the bank. He still holds on to a ton of his altcoins as they go 90%, 95% off. He loses a few millions in dollars in worth of altcoins, but it hardly makes a dent in the realized gains that he's made. Now, altcoiner B, he believes crypto is an emerging market where he can make lots of money. He puts in $10,000. His altcoins do a 10x in Satoshi values during the time his BTC has done a 3x in dollar value. He now has $300,000. He sells almost all of it. So he's got $300,000. He's upset. He sold too early. He's buying the dip near the top. 300,000 stays 300,000. At the next point, right, as this altcoiner was selling, as Bitcoin and the altcoins do another 10x in Satoshi values, he could have been a multimillionaire. He's trying to make millions by buying into ICOs, right? In the peak of altcoin season, how many of us were in there trying to find those low cap gems at the end of altcoin season? I know I was. Put like $20,000 into random ass altcoins. And that was us, right? I should have been reading my own. And I read this thing 100 times. I didn't even realize it till just now, but that's exactly what I was doing. Buying ICOs at the peak of the ICO bubble. At first, he seems to be doing well. It's up to 500,000. He holds most of those altcoins as they go 95% off through a bear market. He ends up with a couple $100,000 and thinks he's a genius. I've been that guy. Been that guy a couple times. Folks, when you're in at this early, right? When you're in this early, and you're making 10x, like, right, I'm investing in crypto. I don't know about you guys, but just to preserve my wealth. I've generated enough capital, and now I need a place to park that capital so that it can continue to at the very least retain my purchasing power. So if I give my son, $5,000 worth of Bitcoin today, I hope that $5,000 worth of Bitcoin will be able to buy him the same thing that it bought me today, if not more, right? I now have a portfolio of hundreds of thousands of dollars, which I didn't have before. Last bull run, I was playing it very risky. I was trying to make those gains, and I was trying to make enough capital to make life-changing moves. And no matter how hard we try, what we did, outside of getting, honestly, just super lucky that we found Cardano when we found it, right? Trading, we did all right, but it was a full-time job. We were here 24/7. And, market conditions have to be perfect. This is a perfect example for a long market. If you're long in this market and long in these dips, you've been absolutely killing it. Going into a bear market, when everybody else is long and you see the writing on the wall and you're shorting that market, you can make a lot of money shorting the market. But how many people got absolutely destroyed in the bear market? How many people that were some of the best traders that got absolutely castrated trying to trade a sideways market? A lot of people. It's like when people start trading, I got a friend that's doing it right now, and they're trading in these market conditions, and then you go from, like, it doesn't matter what trade you place, as long as you're longing the market, was it rising tides rise all ships? It doesn't really matter what you're trading in this type of market. As long as you're waiting on a pullback, and then you're adding to your position and you're taking profits, like you think you become this great trader. And then when all of a sudden Bitcoin starts to move, you've been playing these altcoin gems and you start building up your position, then you start making that position bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and get a little bit more risky, not using a stop loss because you've just been so good for so long. And then all of a sudden in, one or two trades, you lose everything or more than you made. Man, it's not hard to do in this industry, to say the least. So that is why I'm going to take 10%. Right? I've been through enough bull runs. I don't need to make trillions of dollars. And when you sell 10% of something, and then you have 91%, and then you sell another 10%, you got 81%, and then you sell another 10%, you got 72%. Like, I would be a retard to not be taking 10% every time it did a 10x. Because I'm still, after I take 10% 4 times, I'm still sitting on, what is that? That's 81, 72, and then 63%. So I could literally, if I just did it at 10x, every time I did a 10x at $10,000 or at $10, $20, $30, $40, I'm going to get almost $1 million out of the market, man. So why would I not do that? And then sit on 63% of my bag, and I could ride it from there. After 40, I could stop taking 10% and ride it to oblivion or ride it all the way back down. It would not make a difference. But then all of a sudden, you've created enough capital to really make plays and change your lives. Zphil says, AI play is XNA. What do we got on XNA, folks? You guys were always the ones. The best coins that I found were from doing this with you guys. And I was too negative on so many coins this year. This year, I'm just probably going to throw fucking money at shit. Say, fuck it. What do we got here on this one? This is an AI coin. About Neuro AI, N-E-U-R, Newer. Is that what I'm saying that right? Newer AI. The Newer project was launched on 4/17/2023. The creators of the project are three electronics specialists dedicated for years to IoT projects who have not found any platforms to link this knowledge with the blockchain world. For the creation of Newer AI, the Ravencoin code has been used due to its robustness, ASIC-resistant algorithms, and incorporating assets into the project. Newer AI's mission is to bridge the IoT world, connect it with AI via API, and use AI dedicated to ESP32 and RISC-V equipment, and then link it to the Newer AI's assets. Sounds pretty interesting, man. I like that market cap there at 31 million. Like that market cap at 31 million. Where is the websites at on this thing now? Nope, don't want to share with my friends. Man, I like their old, oh, there it is. I like their old layout much better. Let's take a look here and see what we got, folks. Z-Phil says, Z-Phil. Am I saying that right? Phil? Z-Phil? I feel like I'm not saying that right. Z-Phil says the Cadena community loves Zephyr, if I'm saying that right, because it's proof of work. And it actually serves a purpose in Web 2 with anonymous dexes around the corner, swapping for BTC to ZEPH, ZSD, ZRS will be a breakthrough. What have you guys heard about these ZK rollups on Cadena? I meant to get into that with those guys, but it looks like Newer AI doesn't want to load, folks. One hitter says, buying KADA was the best thing I ever did, homie. You and me both, brother. You and me both. Oh, we up. I was just about to leave it. So blockchain AI, connecting the real world with the blockchain. Newer AI aims to be a platform enabling harnessing the power of AI algorithms for efficient data analytics, predictive modeling, decision-making, and connectivity to IoT devices using blockchain assets. So utility and strength. Newer was born with a clear objective to bring together the real world through IoT equipment developed by US and digital world through the Newer blockchain. To these two important parts, we must add the ability to use AI to solve and identify the needs that we want to explore through our own algorithms. Robust and proven code, POW for good distribution, ASIC resistant. I like all the sounds of that, my friends. Seems like a great project, man. Really, really cool. What else you guys got for me? Shill them if you got them, folks. Sorry, I need to take a break there for a second. One hitter says, check out Cadena Opt Wallet. It's based on privacy using ZK proofs. Now you guys are talking my lingo. What do we got here? Let's check this one out, one hitter. One hitter says, Opact Wallet. Cadena Opact Wallet. Let's take a look. Cadena Opact Wallet. Chill a link in here if you got it. What, hitter? I'll pull it up next. CKB, baby. CKB. Wow, that's been a long one. We made some good money on CKB there right at the end of the bull run. Woo hoo hoo. Holy schmoly. CKB's on a ripper. Gosh damn. Shit, what pump were we playing back then that we got out on? Was it down here in the bear market? We got out on one of these pump ups. Yeah, that must have been it. I still got my markers over here. And that was it right there. Wow. Wow. That's a great one, folks. That's a huge play. Where are you going to come back down to? Fibs calling for price on that run up. Back down. Around here, you're so far ahead. Wow. That might be a good shorting opportunity. Holy shnikes. How much did that run up? Damn, 600%. Woo. Ghosty, C Ghosty See Ghosty says, check out Osmosis. Let's do it. Osmo, baby. What do we got on Osmo? Ooh, Osmo's on a little ripper too. Holy cow. Holy shnikes. This entire market's on fire. 855%. Wow, man. Everything is ripping right now. Holy smokes. Holy smokes. You came down, you found support there on the 100-day moving average. Osmo is going to it's going to rip, dude. It's going to rip. What is the market cap on Osmosis now? I mean, this is a fan favorite, a Moon Boy favorite. Less than $1 billion market cap. I could see that doing a 10 or 20x this bull run all day. All day. Zill, man. We got freaking, isn't Zill a scam coin? Are we still waiting? What was it? Sharding. Whatever happened to the sharding on Zill? Is that ever going to happen? Or are we going to go do it through another whole 4 years and they're still going to tell us that sharding's coming? Was that Zill that showed us that hopium pipe dream? And I probably got wrecked on. Holy shit. It's a long way back up to the top, folks. 1,300% for people that bought the top to break even. And Zill really rubbed me wrong last bull run, man. I don't even know if this product's building anything. Let's take a look at their code and see if they built anything. Where is their GitHub at? Let's take a look at the GitHub. See what we're working with here. GitHub. Oh, updated 3 weeks ago. Okay. So we got updates over here. So it does look like they're making show pending transactions 3 weeks ago, 3 months ago. Okay, 3 weeks ago. Latest updated released 3 weeks ago. 155 releases. Okay, cool. Zill's actually building something. It looks like, I mean, I don't know what they're building. Could have just been something stupid, but you know, that's one of those ones that they burnt me the wrong way, man. ETH sharding now. Yep. OPAC is a wallet that you can send your KDA peer-to-peer privately using ZK proofs. It's in beta. Oh, no shit, man. Well, let me know. Keep me updated on that. If their team wants to come on for an interview, tell them to reach out. DM me on Twitter. DNX, my man. DNX. Which one? DNX. I'm sure there's going to be a couple of them. Just one. Dynex. Am I saying that right? Dynex. $70 million market cap. Man, we started this show about 2 months too late, huh? 2 months too late. And see, the market cap has gone up from, geez, oh Pete's. What's this one all about? Let's take a look. How do I get back to the other? Oh yeah, it's right down here. There we go. Dynex is a next generation platform for neuromorphic, if I'm saying that right, computing based on a groundbreaking flexible blockchain protocol. It consists of participating POUW miners that constitute a decentralized neuromorphic supercomputing network, which is capable of performing computations at an unprecedented speed and efficiency, even exceeding quantum computing. Wow. By transforming traditional inefficient computers into neuromorphic chips, we will finally be able to create a new discoveries, Dynex property proof of work or proof of useful work algorithm. Dynex enables each miner to perform Dynex chips computations. As a community with a collaborative effort, we can take the next step towards sustainability and efficiency, transform your computer or your dormant GPU mining equipment into neuromorphic machines. Each earn money and generate wealth. Sounds pretty cool. Let's take a look at their website. Website's clean. As seen on TV. Driving the change. GPUs being utilized. Let's take a look at their GitHub. Let's see what we're working with here. Well, it looks like constantly being updated. 704 contributions in the last year to their GitHub. That's huge. 2023, there was 952. And in 2022, 567. So they're building something. And they're actually updating and building. Cool. I dig it, man. What else you guys got for me? Shill them if you got them, folks. We'll keep going for about another maybe 20 minutes and we'll wrap it up. See what are these other projects you guys got for me. Render is pumping. Let's check it out. Render. Render's looking good. Render's a really interesting project, man. I think they're gonna be doing a lot of things this year. Wow, we came all the way down. Man, I gotta turn off these moving averages. It's just too much on the charts there. I have no doubt Render is gonna go up. These are the projects that, that one's only up 120%. So, judging how these other proof of work coins have ran, that might not be a bad play. I always tell myself, I'm like, I'm not doing it this bull run. I'm not doing it. I'm just buying more Bitcoin. Second interview last night, I wake up and I spend $1,500 on Space Coin. Can't help myself sometimes, folks. You'd think you'd learn the lesson of just buy Bitcoin. Buy Bitcoin. It's going to $1 million. Put 60 grand now into Bitcoin. Buy one more Bitcoin. You got $1 million. Or we can try throwing a couple $1,000 at some long shots. Render is sitting at a $3.3 billion market cap. That coin's going to have to do some work to get back up to where it was. What's crazy about before, right, is I bet you a lot less coins were out into circulation, So as price kind of stays at a lower level, your market cap's a lot higher, or your market cap's still high. We kind of see that with Cadena, Last bull run, if Cadena had a $400 million market cap, it probably would have been close to like $5 or $6 or $7. Now it's, $1 something. So a lot of these products have released a lot of coins, and a lot of coins means market cap goes up, and we'll see about price. That's a big market cap. It's it's just too high for me to want to put something in a market cap at 3 billion versus something at, 400 million. But damn, oh damn. That'd be a good one. Render tries, says, oh, my head hurts, but it's so interesting, Ryan. Thanks, brother. I have no clue what's going on here, but I'm willing to learn, man. Yeah, this is more, I guess, for the advanced people, the people that have been with me for a really long time versus, the interviews are more for explaining what crypto products are, how they work. Tried 2023, man. It's the money. Ask Sean from LFA TV. Sean will be on the show tomorrow, right? Sean's been aping into some of these. He's been making a lot of money. He's been finding some of these meme coins like super early on. Like he found Trump coin, man. I'm so bummed. And he told me about it too, and I could have got into it, and I'm an idiot. I just I was moving, and I had my other PC that had my MetaMask wallet on it, and I was like, I'm not going to try to find some Ethereum and then transfer it to a wallet and pay ETH gas fees to buy some Trump coin, even though if I were to buy any coin, it should have been Trump coin. But this MAGA coin, $7.31, $300 million market cap. Sean was reaching out to me when this thing was like a $3 million market cap. And it hit as high as 1149. And he was reaching out to me. Look at how long I could have bought it for 8 cents, 1 cent, 3 cent, 2 cent. And then and that was the Super Tuesday pump that Sean was waiting for, and he said he was taking profits on. Now it's down to $7 something cents. I mean, if this thing keeps coming back down, man, I might actually grab some of it, I would say if there was going to be one Shiba coin, gosh, I feel like it's going to be Trump coin. Honestly, I'm so pissed off I didn't get into this way earlier. I mean, it's on no major exchanges. Oh, it is. It's on Poloniex. Reserve data unavailable. It's on Poloniex. Wow. And CoinEX. Damn it. I'm so pissed I missed that. GLMR. Let's pull up some Glimmer. GLMR, man. This was an interesting one last bull run. I had my doubts about this one. And it is on its way up here. Let's see how much we're up. 270%. This is fucking nuts, guys. DSTS, great to see you. As a matter of fact, good to see everybody over here. Even 100 Bitcoin by 2028 halving. My goal is to get 100 Bitcoin. Damn, man, you are stacking heavily, dude. That'd be badass, man. I mean, if Cadena Let's say Cadena does what we think Cadena is going to do. Should have left that market cap up. Market cap of. Let's see if Cadena hits our target, which let's just say we do like a BNB style target, right? So if Cadena hits BNB's market cap, which is probably close to what? What's BNB's market cap at right now? $63 billion. For the number one layer one blockchain. I don't think that's unrealistic. Solana hit what? Is it 80 billion last bull run? Mr. K, my man, how the hell are you? So we got that would be 146x. So let's just say Cadena is $1.75 right now times 100,000. Is that right? Yeah, that's right there. 100,000. And then we times that by 146x. Gives us a total of 25 million. So I'd be sitting on 25 million. But by the time, what would Bitcoin be then? $1 million? So I'd only be, if my Cadena bags do what we expect, right? We'll be sitting on 25 mil. And then to put that into Bitcoin, I could only buy 25. And you're trying to buy 100 Bitcoin. Whew, man, you better get to buying. What is 25? What is 100 Bitcoin right now? 6 million? Yeah, 6 million. It is. Yep. That'd be freaking sick, man. Alphium. I've heard a lot of hype about this one lately in the community. Let's see. Everybody was trying to get me to get Elf. And I bought A0. Alphium, $230 million market cap. In the last month, we've been steady. Looks like between $1.95 and roughly as high as $3.85. Seeing a $235 million market cap. Alphium. We got no description or anything about the project. Just price predictions. They should get a write-up over here on CoinMarketCap. Take a look at their website. Alphium.org, scalable for devs, secure for users, decentralized for all. Innovative sharding meets expressive, SUTXO, and efficient proof of lens work to secure scalable dApps for the real world use case. That's a mouthful. Start building. Scalable and sharded. Alphium is built on a novel sharding algorithm. For those of you guys that don't understand what sharding means, it basically, you take a block on a blockchain because it can only hold so much data, and you split that block into multiple blocks. You do some computational resources on those other blocks, and then you basically bring them back in to the main block and settle in that main block. It's really, really complicated. I got quite a few whiteboard videos on it. I don't even know if I fully understand it anymore. But it leverages a stateful UTXO model and a DAG data structure to deliver efficient and partial sharding. This enables Alphium to natively support over 10,000 transactions per second while preserving a seamless single-chain user experience, efficiency, and in energy computation. So what's crazy about sharded blockchains is there's never been one to actually do it and get it to work and be able to scale it. They've been able to do it. I think who is that? Near? Is it Near blockchain? Whatever hell it happened to Near. Man. If there's one I thought would have came out of nowhere, it would have been Near. Wow. Wow, Near was down to $1. This is the one. If there was one proof of stake blockchain I would have been buying into this summer, it would have been Near. Out of all the ones I thought were going to get shilled and really pumped to the moon this bull run, it was Near. 100%, no questions asked. Just based off their team and the amount of money that they made last bull run and how they were building out developers and how they were trying to find 100 developers. Instead of supporting a bunch of projects and throwing a ton of money at a ton of different projects, they were trying to find 100 of the best projects and they were going to fully back them and support them, like completely. So I always thought that this one would be running up this bull run, and running it sure is. Anybody else get into some Near this summer? Take a look at the market cap. Market cap was down to $1 billion. And at its all-time high, it was 12 billion. That's pretty nuts. Pretty nuts, to say the least. What else you guys got for me? I need Bitcoin for dummies. We got you, man. We got you. But Bitcoin going to dip down in between. You know, I thought it would have did it already. I mean, if you take a look at RSI, which is my favorite indicator to use. RSI. What happened to your standard RSI? Ah, there it is. Oh, let's get our 2 charts going on. I can actually do that now. There it is. Put Bitcoin on both charts. Let's close this one out. Delete this panel. I mean, look at our RSI readings on Bitcoin. So those of you guys who don't understand, RSI, this indicator right here that we're using, depending on your settings, like mine's set to 30 right now. Should be set to 30. Yeah, set to 30, right? So that's taking over the last 30 days, right? So it goes and takes the average open and close price. And then at the end of the day, the average price based off the open and close. And then it marks that on a chart. And it kind of dots that and it smooths out this line. So over here, you're seeing these candles up and down. You're seeing exactly what price did throughout the entire day. This is just a smooth version of it. Think about it like the water, the flow of water through a sink, right? When you have it opened all the way, you're up here. As soon as you see this is your momentum or your pressure of the market, right? So as RSI starts to come down, so does volume and so does trading. So when you're over this yellow line here, this is your oversold. And if you go back through the to last bull run and you look at kind of how things played out, you only get above here. Like the last time that we were really above there was January of 2023. So we go back over to January of 2023 was right here, right in this area. Then we ran up to 24, and then we came all the way back down to 19, right? Then we ran back up again. We just couldn't get enough momentum to get back up. And you see how we get close to this side? And then that would have been your buying entry point down here. That would have been that 24,000. I bought a little Bitcoin there. And then we ran up here. And now we're up at this point. So this is your oversold indicator. This is really indicating that your market's really oversold. But if we go back and we look at last bull run, which is I wanted to point this out. Right? Like we broke over RSI the first time that it broke up over. Where were we at? Right about there. That was at 14,000. And then Bitcoin stayed in this insane bullish market where it kept going up and up and up and up. And even at its highest point, was 42,000. It's when a lot of people thought the bull run was over. And honestly, it very possibly could have been. But then you had Elon Musk over here buy like $1 billion worth of Bitcoin. And it ran back up again. And then you're looking at it over here and over here and over here. And it just kept coming down and down and down. And we had that second bull run where the Fed started printing more money. Interest rates didn't go up yet. And we almost got again here, but we didn't get quite over it, right? We didn't get quite over it. I didn't see any bearish divergence either. But when you start seeing bearish divergence on these charts, that's when I'll be looking for a short. So looking at what we got here, we're putting in higher highs here. Price is probably over here putting in higher highs as well. Dear Lord. Yeah, it's both putting in higher highs. I don't think we're going to see Bitcoin come back below. I don't think we're ever going to come back below 50,000, honestly. Maybe there's a liquidity crisis or traditional markets collapse or something along the lines of that happens. I don't really see us ever coming back below 40. But then again, I never saw us coming back below 30 either. And, that should happen. So maybe some type of catastrophic event in America could lead to that, but it's very possible. I mean, now would be the best time to do it. How many people have drained their bank accounts in the last, couple of months buying Bitcoin? This would be the ultimate, time to, collapse Bitcoin and crash the entire market. This would be ideal because so many people are going to be trapped in. It'll upset so many people. Do I think it's going to happen? Nope. Would I sell my Bitcoin? Never. Never, ever, ever. So Cobra Kai in the house. Long time no see. We got Jacob, my man, my OG teenager from Mars, man. Katie Hayes, long time no see, folks. Cheers, man. Good to see everyone. We're getting the old gang back together. The old OG gang's coming back together. Man, I could talk crypto all day. I can only do an hour show on LFA. 2 hours is really tough. Crypto, I go for 3, 4, 5 hours all day long. Easy. Ave's coming down. Let's take a look at ETH back up to $3,700. Wow. Wow. You know, I heard that there's some bigger YouTubers that are using my scaling in strategy. They're using it at the wrong time of the year, my friends. I would never be scaling into shorts. Not here, not now, not ever. Bitcoin is on some ripper like we've never seen before. I mean, we're still above. Like we haven't even tried to break the uptrend. I mean, Bitcoin has to come down so low before it finds that support on that. I mean, I think we're going into a bull run unlike anything we've ever seen before. There was a point over here where I was like, okay, is this going to be the 48 or 52 like we did in 19? That would be the only thing I'm kind of hemming or hawing about, right? We always get really bullish right before the bull run, right before the halving. Is this all just hype like it was in 2019? So we can take a trip down memory lane, but I need to get an older chart. I need to go to Coinbase. There it is. There she blows. Excuse me. In 2019, we did this, right? Almost very similar conditions, right? So over here, I think this was the Fed's interest rate at, actually, I think it was right here it started in 18, was 0.5. Then it was 1. Then it was 2. And it was 2.5. And I want to say it hit 2.5 or 3, right? And this is where the Fed reversed course. They started lowering interest rates because Trump was calling them out for basically destroying the economy. 3. And then boom, right? So Bitcoin from its bottom over here ran up about 300%. And they stuck us in this liquidity crisis and they collapsed it down 72%. Completely different times than we're in right now. Right now, you have every country around the world. Currency is pretty much hyperinflating. Let's take a look at the global inflation rates. Argentina, 254%. That's fucking nuts, man. Turkey, 67%. Russia, that's a lie. Russia doesn't have 7.4% inflation. Not a chance. Russia's thriving. I bet Russia has less than a 1% inflation rate. Things are so cheap in Russia. South Africa, 5.3. India, 5.1. Mexico, 4.8. And those are G20 countries. Australia, some place in Australia looks like 12.1%. Africa, 21%. In some places, 29%. So you're just looking around the entire world. Oh, here they are. Oh, Lebanon. Okay, cool. I was like, how are there not that many? So check this out. Argentina, you live there, you have to be going into Bitcoin. Lebanon, no choice, Bitcoin. Syria, Venezuela, Turkey, Sudan, Syria, Zimbabwe, the Congo, Iran, every country that the CIA staged a color revolution in and overthrew the government of that country. Imagine that. Cuba, Nigeria, Egypt, Suriname, Ethiopia, all of these countries are going to be inevitably adopting the Bitcoin standard. Pakistan, Haiti. Haiti's about to get really bad. Ask Rumble Rick. He'll fill you in on that one. What's going down over in Haiti right now? Did you guys see what happened in Mexico? Mexican citizens are so fed up with their corrupt president that right before we went live today, The citizens in Mexico right now are outside of the president's house. They have his palace surrounded. Last I saw, they were taking a truck and they were using a truck to ram it through this guy's door. Actually, you know what? I might have the video here. It's wild. So how long is it before everybody in Mexico starts adopting Bitcoin? Probably not long. Give me 1 second. Let me see if I can download this video. Oh, I can. Yeah, this is wild. Y'all guys will get a kick out of this. Not crypto related, but in reality, it all is, right? Everybody around the world is so fed up with their government and the shit that they're putting them through, and they continue to put them through. This is what's going on. Check this out. I need a break anyways. Bummer. Give me a second. Let me see if it worked on my phone. If it downloaded on my phone. Oh, it did. Okay, I got a screen recording of it. Let me airdrop this one over. This is why I say, people are waking up all around the world. Why would you ever want to save in a currency? Like, if you're willing to go out and go after and target, wrong computer. If you're willing to go and target, the politicians in your own government, there's no better way to strip and permanently remove that power from your government than by adopting the Bitcoin standard. So once you adopt the Bitcoin standard, it takes all of that power away. So what we're watching here in Mexico, or what we're about to watch is, oh, there it is. Yep, here it comes. Let's see if we can play it. Yeah, it's going to work.
Para que se pueda apreciar un poco la situación que se está presentando en este momento.
Yeah, right. You see here first over on the Crypto War Room, folks. This is what I'm talking about. And this is why I call it. It's like the Crypto War Room. We're at war with our own government. Every country around the world right now simultaneously is pretty much at war with their government. And because of their ability to print money infinitely. And everybody's waking up and going, how do I get out of this shit storm that our government has put us into? And I talk about this a lot in LFA, right? We were born into slavery. I forget the guy's name. His name's Luke. Luke something does a really good job at describing it. And he says, if you were born in basically in the olden days and basically in Israel, and there was that 400-year stretch of slavery in Israel, and you were born into it at, say, year 200. So your parents were slaves, your great-great-grandparents were slaves, your great-great-great-great-grandparents were slaves. You're born, you know nothing but being a slave. You don't know what freedom is. You don't know what rights are. You don't know that, getting raped by the person that owns you is a sin, right? You know none of that because all you know is slavery. We were born into parents that told us to go to school. They put us in indoctrination camps. They let the government raise us, right? I mean, I grew up in a time where my grandparents were smoking in the back of the car with the window. I was sitting in the back seat of the car. Windows were rolled up. Grandma's clam baking us in there with cigarettes, right? Seatbelts weren't really a thing and we survived. And now all of a sudden we have all these rules and regulations and all this bullshit, right? And life's got no better. But we didn't know any better. We were literally brainwashed since the time we were born into being slaves. Slaves to a fiat system. Slaves to the point where I've said this so many times, but until I really went into the politics side of things, I didn't fully understand it. How do you know anything else, right? How do you know different? When your parents are telling you, go to school, get a job, pay your taxes. Yeah, 20% in taxes is normal. And I ask everybody, can you name one country, just one country that taxes their citizens and sends that money to the United States of America? Anybody? Not one, brother. Not one. Not one country taxes their citizens and sends it to America. So Americans in the land of the free, home of the brave, you're right now giving your government 53% of every penny you make, whether that's in sales tax, property tax, registration for your vehicles, insurance for your vehicles. Are you really free? If you walk across the street and you don't cross in a crosswalk and you don't press that button, you're going to get a ticket for crossing the street. We really got to a point in America where we need laws that dictate where and how and when we can cross the street. Are you fucking kidding me? We were raised as slaves, folks. Let me see. I should have been here. Yeah, I should be here. It should be on this computer. Let me see if I can find this video for you guys really quick. One that talks about being a slave. I'm probably never going to be able to find it. I'll just take a second and let me see if I can actually remember where this clip was. If you guys missed the intro to the show, the intro is really good. I would swing back to the beginning. Oh, I didn't even play it all today because Dan wanted to get on here. Let me just see if I can find this guy's clip. It's Luke. It's Luke. It's Luke. It's way back here. Way back here. Come for it. No, I'm not going to be able to find it. I don't think I am anyways. Man, I wish I could show you guys this clip here from this guy named Luke. Man, it was such a good clip too. I don't think I saved it as slave. Maybe I did. No, I didn't save it. I didn't save it. There's no way. I have so many clips on here that I put in here every day. I won't be able to find it. But I'll grab it for you guys the next couple of days. Oh, actually, I posted it on Twitter. I might be able to quick search it on Twitter. Give me 1 second. Let me see if I can pull this up. Oh, I'll be able to find it here. Just give me 1 or 2 minutes. Oh, yeah, I'm going to be able to find it pretty quick, I think. Oh, I did find it. Oh, sweet, dude. Give me 2 seconds. Let me just rip this from Twitter really quick. You guys will appreciate this one. To really make you think. Because if we don't break this cycle, our children have no future. They have no hope. Bitcoin's that only hope. Bitcoin's the only tool that really levels the playing field, that no government can actually corrupt or take over from us. But check out this. You guys will enjoy this one. It's Mark Moss, by the way. Make sure you guys swing over there and show Mark some love.
So you know what I was talking about with Andrew on the Tesla coming over here in the car, and I was like, imagine you're in year 200 of the 400 year of Israeli slavery inside the Egyptian kind of empire, where you have the story of Moses, or you can even take when Israel gets captured and taken into exile to Babylon. You have the story of Daniel. What happens if you're born in year 227 of that slavery? You have no context of freedom. You have no understanding of what it means to be autonomous. Yeah. You have no reference point of working for yourself. You have no reference point of making your own money. You have no reference point of sovereign currency because you're under the thumb of your oppressor. Yeah. People don't seem to understand that that's where we are today. You're 200 and something years into an ecosystem that's been curated and designed for slavery. Mm-hmm. So when you understand that you're 100 and something years into the psyop, you begin to ask yourself, why does it take 10 years, 12 years in order for me to buy a house, cash? That sounds kind of slavish. When a couple years ago, I would have to work 2-3 years. And before that, it would take a couple months. What the fuck is a 30-year mortgage? Yeah. Now they're trying to come up with 50-year mortgages. So I begin to evaluate all these scenarios, and I ask myself, where the fuck are we going in the future? So it's not so much an opinionated thing, it's more so I like to observe things pragmatically and see them play out.
What I was saying is, do you think that holds? You're taking a very long-term approach.
Okay, to answer your question,
I'm going to preserve the Nile, and I'm not going to take from it. But I know if I build around the Nile and help people get what I want, eventually I'll get what I want. And I was saying, I think most people are held back by the fact that they can't imagine working for free.
Yes, correct. So back to the point. So if you're in year 176 of slavery, and all you know is that you're going to work, and in return you're going to get a paycheck, then that's the default mindset that you're going to hold. No labor is going to be put forth unless you're able to see a reward. And most people can't see a reward in front of their, like if it's right here, if they don't see the dollar sign right here, they're not going to do it. They're risk adverse. They don't understand that they have truly nothing to lose, but they're not willing to take any risk. So I think the big discrepancy as to why individuals aren't willing to take the risk, or why individuals are in a situation where they have this kind of potentially slave mindset, to me has to do with nurture, how they grow up, the school system, how they're educated, and overall I think is a cultural experience of hundreds and hundreds of years of systemized cheating that's been done on people to extort them for their time, their energy, and their effort. If you look at how the fiat system was created, it wasn't created to empower people, it was created to steal from people. So if you begin to realize that this is kind of like a slavery model that's imposed on everybody, if you can kind of shake away from it, or at least observe it from a third-party perspective, it may be beneficial.
Yeah. That's it, folks. Right there. You guys seen it. We got Katie Hayes says, peace out, squad. Ryan, it's good to have you back, brother. God bless you. God bless you, my friend. DeFi Rye says, is that Breed Love? No, that wasn't Breed Love, but great. Really great. Awesome show, Ryan. Tried 2023 says, Drew126 says, did KDA become available in any new exchanges? Sucks in New York still. Oh, stuck in New York. Yeah, Drew. I think your best bet on that is to find somebody that you can transfer some USDT to, and we'll snag it up for you. I'm sure there's a lot of players in our Telegram that wouldn't mind doing that for you. Mr. K, Blue, any of the OG ones that we trust, I would trust those guys. They'll make it happen for you. Somebody will, especially if you throw them a couple bucks to do it. It's the best way to do it, in my personal opinion. Or, pay the gas fees and just do it on a decentralized exchange. But then you got to pay those swap fees. I don't think so. Yeah, you got to abide by those New York laws, man. That sucks. I'm sorry to hear that. I think government can refine Social Security by taking advantage of the crypto modo in 401k style security. I think so. I think that could do it. They would have to, how do you pay off the US debt, right? How do you pay off $34 trillion in debt? Seems like if you print $34 trillion and you spend all that money buying Bitcoin and you're constantly stacking Bitcoin. KDA Coinbase, man, that's a great question. If I had to take a guess, I would say hopefully altcoin season. A Cardano launch on altcoin season would make us filthy rich. Right now, it would kind of suck. It'd be nice that they could get it on there because I know a lot of people that want to buy it that would buy it only on Coinbase. So I don't think it would be bad if they launched right now, but gosh damn, if they did it in altcoin season after Cardano already did a 10 or 20x and everybody was talking about it, it'd be a game over. So God bless you guys. We're going to wrap the show up right there, folks. Hopefully you guys do me a huge favor and smash that like button on the way out of the show today. I greatly appreciate it. We're going to be bringing you guys a whole new type of content over here. We're going to be doing live interviews, coin calls, talking back and forth. I will eventually be getting this down to a 1-hour show because I just don't have enough time. We got a lot of stuff going on this summer. We might even move the time of the show. 9 p.m. is a little late. It's hard getting some guests on here because everybody gets up early and has to go to bed. So we might end up moving to this like a 6 p.m. show or a 7 p.m. show or something a little bit different time. I was trying to work with my son's schedule, my schedule. It might even honestly go to like a 10 in the morning show. Those are my favorite times. I might even go to 9 and just do market opens with you guys. Trade markets. But I wanted to sit down and do some long format interviews with people like Dan and all the OGs and get caught up on everything. Find some new altcoins, shoot the shit with you guys. But we're definitely going to be moving the time of the show. 9:30 is really late. So we'll move it to a different time. But for now, we're going to keep it at this time. God bless you. Tomorrow we got Sean Farish, guys. If you guys haven't heard Sean's Trump impersonations, he's new to crypto. So we're going to be asking a lot of questions and probably just shooting the shit about. So if you guys are new to crypto, tomorrow will probably be a pretty good show for you guys. We're going to talk a little bit about meme coins, talk about what Sean's learned over the last couple of months. He's getting pretty heavy into crypto. So should be some fun shows. God bless you guys. We'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.